She does. She's got a couple. She's got her own system.
Okay, looks like you're unmuted and recording and all that.
Okay. Yeah.
Do not.
Oh, we don't know.
We're supposed to the next step.
Okay.
That's never goes.
Okay, all right, my name is Donna Raftery, I'm the chair of Community Board Two's SLA committee. Also on the committee, we have Dr. Shirley Smith, Eric Olson, Carter Booth, Bob Ely is a public member, Paul McDade, Laura Bell, am I got, yeah. Good enough, okay, good, public member, Brian Pate, who's been on this committee and who has joined us tonight, is moving and so is no longer on the committee. So I wanted, now that he's here, I publicly thank him for his service. It's been wonderful having him on the committee. He's been a great addition and we are going to miss him anytime he's in town. I hope he stops by. Comments are still welcome, even though you're not sitting in here. So, and now we are joined by Cormac Flynn. Okay. So we'll get going. This is how it works. I call on the application, like I've said, we're not doing them in order. Come up, everybody needs to use the microphone. Please use the microphones. There's two up there. Make sure they are on. They come out of the things. If you need to hold them like right next to you. There's a little dial in the middle of the stand-up one. You can raise and lower it. So address the committee, present your application. The committee will then ask questions. Once we are done, we will go to the public, public members, come up, use the microphones, address the committee, any questions or anything, just put them out there. Once we've heard from everybody from the public on an application, we will let the applicants come back up and address any questions, comments, concerns, whatever. So that's how it goes. We ask that everybody speak respectfully about the applications to us, to each other, and again, use the microphone. July SLA2 is meeting on Wednesday, the 8th, not Thursday. So just keep that in mind. Check our calendar. The location is still TBD. It is not going to be here. So make sure you check that. And I'm just going to put it out there right now for anybody who might be coming back. We may put a time limit on speaking or something like that because we will have a hard stop wherever we are and we need to get through everything. And I have no idea what the agenda is going to be. So just giving advance notice to that. We're not here to do more merchants tonight. With appearance, that was at the roadway seating. They signed stipulations. They signed them last year. So the same thing was basically the notification. So the first one we're going to hear is Cafe Gallery LLC doing business with the Gallery Cafe at 168 Thompson Street. This is excited for a tavern. Is somebody here on that one? Okay, so we'll call that one again. Okay. All right, so the next one we're going to hear is 340 Bleecker St LLC, formerly known as entity to be formed by Catch Hospitality Group LLC at 342 Bleecker Street. This is an on-premise for a restaurant. It's a transfer. It's item C2.
Oh, there we go. Thank you. Thank you, Beth. Hey there. I'll be there.
The only thing about the transfer is the dot there, so it's
Change yesterday.
right.
They are. Perfect.
Good evening. Joseph Levy here on behalf of the applicant. I have with me the Director of Operations for the group. The application before you is for a full liquor license. It's a transfer application pursuant to a sale of assets. The plan here is to transfer everything inclusive of the method of operation. I'll let Peter speak to the actual concept itself, and then I can get into the nuts and bolts of the application.
Good evening, everyone. So the concept for,
Make sure that's on, there's a blue button on there that may need to be.
Testing.
That's it.
good evening. So the concept's gonna be an all-day French bistro. We anticipate to open lunch, brunch, and dinner. A casual neighborhood concept.
Want to go through hours, whatever, so for everybody who doesn't know what was there.
What existed was 8 a.m. to midnight during the week and 8 a.m. to 1 a.m. on the weekends. The hours will remain the same. Same background music, no TVs, restaurant focused space. The addition to the application, which we referenced earlier, was there is outdoor space here. There's a sidewalk cafe that is 8 tables, 16 seats total. There is a roadway set up here for 22 tables, 44 seats total. Those are fully licensed under the new DOT program, one of the few places that actually has both roadway and sidewalk that are. And you are going to be allowed to transfer these. So as we are buying the assets of this business and transferring the assets, we intend to maintain the sidewalk cafe as well as the roadway, and the specs and the footprint and the table and seat count is going to remain the same.
Okay, and we had stipulations that were, just for the record, they did sign stipulations for both the roadway and
Correct.
the sidewalk.
And we intend to sign the
CB2.
same stipulations, 10 p.m. close outside, as well as the lengthy list of I know stipulations that was negotiated previously with the board and residents. We intend to adhere to all those.
So is there going to be live music? No live.
No live music.
No live music. Is there going to be the DJs at private parties?
No, none of those either.
No DJs and no, okay. And private parties, I think it was like 24 a year,
Correct.
and the doors are closed at all times.
Correct.
And no TVs.
Correct.
Okay, and is there just the one thing you're liable to have black cars coming up, which has not been a problem there? You are who you are, this may be a problem here. You have a plan to address that?
Yeah, we have security and doormen on all of our properties to help with the traffic and the flow of sidewalk in the neighborhood as well.
And the cars, because with that road bed out there, they're not gonna be able to pull up right in front of your
Correct.
place.
Understood, yes.
Correct.
Okay.
They talked about doing the geofencing, which you can set up with Uber and stuff like that to keep cars elsewhere.
Yeah, but elsewhere is not, you got Christopher Street, there's not a whole lot of elsewhere.
There's not a lot
there.
of elsewhere.
That's what I'm saying, in that location, there's not a lot of elsewhere that makes any of that any better. Okay, I think that's it for my questions. Does anybody on the committee have anything?
Question.
Yeah.
I had a question with, you said you're gonna be a neighborhood restaurant. None of the other restaurants are neighborhood restaurants. They're all destination locations. So what's gonna make this a neighborhood restaurant that's accessible to people?
This is our first restaurant, that's gonna be all day dining, so meaning, all of our other restaurants do not have access to lunch or brunch. We intend to have lunch, brunch, and dinner for this location, and it's a Sunny French concept, at a lower check average, and for the space, that's what we intend to do.
So is it gonna be that people have to make reservations 30 days in advance, or?
No, it's reservations and walk-ins.
And is there a percentage of that? I mean, because this is just the question, because when you say neighborhood, it's a very
Yeah.
different connotation. And just to Donna's point, if it's a destination. But this is also lends itself to other problems if you have walk-ins, which are lines and other things outside, so.
We don't
this is a
anticipate a line,
location
at
that's a
least,
little tight
yeah.
with everything that's going on in the area, so that impact is significant.
Just being that, everyone will have a lot more access just because it's multi-period, it should alleviate the demand, and supply issue. As far as walk-ins and reservations allocations, we anticipate the walk-in to be a little bit higher and not just reservations, especially for those lunch and brunch periods.
It's also gonna be faster turns too.
Yeah, I mean, so how are you gonna do that? Because all of your available space is already taken up by outdoor seating. So how are you going to do walk-ins?
So part of the reservation, I can speak to this, we just talked about it. Part of the reservation system would be not just people making reservations in advance, but if you come and you want to put your name down, for instance, you get a text message when your table is ready. So you're not just sitting there waiting, and we're not creating a queue outside to create a scene. You know, you'll come back in 30 minutes, or you come back when you get texted that you come back.
So what we see when that happens is you started at a certain time and there's a line at that time. So I'm just,
Yeah, look,
I mean, this is an issue, so that's. Just trying to figure out how that's engaged.
every location's gonna be a little different, obviously. Every concept's gonna attract a slightly different crowd that's looking for different things. Every concept's gonna have different turn times, different staffing, so. They're gonna have to kind of actively manage this as they go, and the pool's not open yet, so. We're not sure exactly what that's gonna look like, but they have a bunch of tools at their disposal, and they're obviously committed to making sure there's not just wait lines outside all the time.
So I'm just. Gonna say the sidewalk seating, you don't have a lot of room on the sidewalk. It's the two tables right there. The way Theo's has been operating is there's no perimeter on there. So, CB2 has sort of advocated that it was just but that has not happened. So there's supposed to be a perimeter. The wait staff is supposed to be inside. I don't even know how that sidewalk cafe works when you actually are abiding by those rules, because I don't know that you have enough clear space on the sidewalk. But I am going to say, we've said this with a number of other applications, if there is a line out there, you have X amount of free space, and you can use it for sidewalk seating, or you can use it for your line, but that line does not belong in the clear path, and I will have a stipulation in there that
That's
there's
fair.
nothing to that effect, because
We're-
that clear path has to be maintained regardless of what you're doing.
And we would do that anyway, so we're happy to have that stipulation.
Okay. Okay, Laura, you had something?
That was my question. So in the site plan, it only shows outdoor seating in the roadbed, but in the page prior, there's seating abutting the restaurant, so I wasn't sure total what was going on in the exterior.
There should have been on page there, there's the sidewalk seating, that's the 8 tables, 16 seats, and then there's the roadway, which is the 22 and 44.
Does anybody else from the committee have anything? Okay, we're gonna go to the public. So I have Ruby Saracino and Nancy Paisley. Just tighten it up again, Ruby, because if I do what I just started.
All right, I'm short. Hi, everybody. Hi, committee. My name is Ruby Saracino. I'm a lifelong West Village resident. I grew up on 12th Street, and now I live on Christopher and Bleecker, not in the 340 Bleecker building, but at 95 Christopher. And I want to start by saying I would love to have this restaurant downstairs. I do want to use this as a point to start a conversation and ask questions about how you plan to
Ruby, talk to us, just talk to us.
How
They all
they-
know you.
how they plan to take care of the community and the neighbors who are putting up with the sound, probably putting up with the line, who live upstairs, who might not get their reservation, who have lives that aren't revolving, waiting in line for a restaurant, but we are paying substantial rent. And we are truly, myself, number one, because I've truly lived here my whole life. I was born in St. Vincent's Hospital. How restaurants that become buzzy and become a destination, like you said, are taking care of their neighbors and their communities, and how many tables will potential covers be dedicated to the community, and if there will be a friends and family line about, again, like taking care of those true New Yorkers, me who's like in it, but what about my parents and my grandma who don't get it and aren't in it, who still want to go and be able to get a table without the fuss and the muss. Thank you.
Thank you, it's a good point. Nancy?
Thank you, Donna. My name is, whoops, no, thank you. Thank you. My name is Nancy Paisley, and I'm here just with questions really on this, some of which have been addressed, but others have not. The applicants have spoken about a group of restaurants. I'm not sure what the group is or what is in it. Of the one person who is listed on this application as being on the license is also listed on, I think, 6 other existing licenses. But I don't know if there's more to the group than this, because many of, and he's not here this evening, the manager is here. The group consists of 2, 4, 6, 8 people on the various licenses. But I want to go back to when this place was Manatus, which was not that long ago. It was a casual, all-day neighborhood place. Not a diner really, not a greasy spoon, but it was a casual neighborhood place. And when the, excuse me, the current proprietor came in 5 years ago, he said, "We are a neighborhood restaurant serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The cuisine is American, elevating the classic New York coffee shop fare, old school classics served unruffled with a fresh perspective. Amos honors the neighborhood and brings back the have anything all day eatery experience." Well, that sounds like Manatus, maybe a slight upgrade, and everybody said that's terrific. Well, come to find out, as my friends in Boston say, when they opened, they had a different name and a different setup, and it was high-end, white tablecloth, expensive, and dinner only. So a number of us who thought this was a good proposal felt that we'd been had, frankly. And it was right at this space, but there's other places that I don't have to list who have done the same, come in with a friendly type of application, and then without even a few years' experience, oh, it didn't work, just opening as something else. So of the 6 establishments that Mr. Rem is listed on, 5 of them, including the former Chumley's, are high-end dinner only. So I think that raises a question. Well, they say this is gonna be all day casual, and he is listed on a brasserie cognac on the east side, of which there's 3, I think, in Manhattan. I don't know if the group manages all 3, but anyway, if that's what this is, I would be thrilled. I love brasserie cognac, and it is exactly what they do. An update French bistro. So I'm just saying, I hope that's what it
Wanted to
is.
do what they're saying it's going to be.
Yeah, well, I hope that's what it is, I hope, and I'll say that for the benefit of the applicant. And I don't think I have to go into the sidewalk, other people have really said a lot about it, but it's 13 feet. Which does not really allow for comfortable tables and a barrier. And they've got the roadbed set up on the other side of the sidewalk. So as you walk down the sidewalk, you can get by, but you're really walking through a restaurant. It's not very comfortable. On the other hand, it is already licensed, so I think that's water under the bridge. So I wish these folks well, and I sincerely hope that it is going to be an updated all-day French classic bistro.
Next up.
Yes, I forgot to put this onto my speaker.
Okay.
Okay. Yes, I'm Susan Ginsburg, and my problem with what is there, and it's been brought up, is the sidewalk and the roadbed. The sidewalk tables are not flush against the wall. They are catty corner, which takes up another 3 feet probably. There's really, it's not a clear path, and there is no barrier. And they have them in front of doorways. They have them in all kinds of places. The tables, there's more than they say. When you walk by, people are eating a burger or a salad, you are on top of them. I don't know why anybody would want to eat there with everybody walking by. It's really kind of like you could just take things off their plates. And they have a station by the,
I'm just gonna, Susan, this is, whatever they're doing is not, this is a new application, new operators.
okay, so I'm just telling you that there's the service thing on the sidewalk.
That's not permitted.
Yeah, okay, anyway, that's,
Okay.
but can I ask, are the big plants permitted on the roadway? On their,
If they're in their,
I mean, it's not our
in their
neighborhood.
footprint.
It doesn't look like our neighborhood. Anyway, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
This is not in Germany.
Hmm.
Not in Jersey. It's in-
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I appreciate everyone's comments. We are intending to do what we're telling you we're gonna do. I think you've seen in even the recent track record over the last few years, we've opened 3 restaurants. And they all were exactly what we said that we were gonna do. And that's not gonna change here. This is supposed to be kind of a more accessible pastis situation where that's the idea. We want there to be quicker turns. We want it to be more accessible. It's, as Peter said, it's the first all-day option that they have. So it is supposed to be a bit different. We're taking over a space, we're transferring everything as is, we're actually listing some of the things without the live music, without the DJ, we don't need it, we don't want it. And we're gonna see how it works. I think your note about either sidewalk tables or a line, either one, it's not both. I think it's very reasonable. We would do the same thing, and who knows, we could take over the space and realize the sidewalk seating doesn't work for us and just shut it down. That's a very real possibility. But as of right now, we have the option to transfer everything, we'd like to do it. And then we'll kind of take it from there, but you know, we're committed to making it work and again, keeping it contained to what it was supposed to be.
Okay, and then, the Ruby's point, which is my pet peeve too, that it's great, we live in this neighborhood that has all these great restaurants, and none of us can go into unless we just spend our entire life deciding where we wanna try to get online.
And for
Get on the phone
our,
and make
for our
a
restaurant.
reservation a month ahead of time.
Yeah, and Ruby knows me and through a friend granted, but nonetheless, you know, for us, when we open our new restaurants, we introduce ourselves to the neighbors. We have taken care of countless neighbors in the neighborhood for our previous locations as well. For people that need a reservation, for that's looking for accessibility, we're not hard to reach, you know, as far as in terms of that. And because it is, again, just I keep stressing the fact that it is an all-day place. So because it's not a set time at 5 p.m. when we open, there's no reason in our mind that would be a line, you know, starting from 11 a.m. And when we open for lunch, it will be an all day, same menu, so that if you can't get in at 11 a.m., you can get in at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, etc.
And having been a part of a number of things, I can tell you that their usual MO is to have some sort of community meeting with neighbors in their building and adjacent buildings whenever they open a new concept to introduce themselves, hand out business cards, give contact information, give email addresses, and that's how they've been successful in fostering good relationships with their immediate neighbors.
Okay. Dr. Stein?
Thank you. I noticed that you didn't put price points by the food.
We think the check average is gonna be around $65 per person. That's food and beverage included. That's a blend, of course, with lunch and dinner. So dinner will be a little higher depending on the spend, but that's what we anticipate and forecast.
This is just a comment, not a question, but there used to be a restaurant down on Bayard Street called Lavito. I know that's out of our district, but they did, I mean, they were, you know, in an area that's suffering from a lot of displacement, yada, yada, but they always did if you live on the block, you get a little 10% off card. And I've always thought that was a really nice thing when you have a high check price to think about.
Yeah, Peter, you're a manager, is that right?
I'm the director of operations for the company, yes.
And do you manage a particular restaurant
I
or?
oversee all of the locations in New York.
You guys have met Peter before on some of the other applications.
And just real quick, so, you know, do any of your restaurants have roadbed seating?
We do not. This will be the first one, and to Joseph's point, you know, we'd like to have the option to. We might, you know, a couple months from now, say, hey, this doesn't actually work for us and how it is, but none of our locations have that.
Yeah, because what I would say is that the roadbed itself is what Carter was bringing up earlier, which is there's no place for cars to go to either drop off or to even double park here because it's a bike lane right there. So it's a very unusual part of Bleecker Street. It's a very crowded part of Bleecker Street. And to me, the roadbed is it's definitely a problem, at least in terms of the way you folks operate your restaurants and this location. And I understand you wanted an all-day restaurant, that's fine, but it's complicated with the drive, because people are gonna be driving there, that's all. Okay, thanks.
And that's a fair point, just to that point, if transferring this outdoor situation wasn't a possibility, I think everybody here knows how much of a nightmare this process has been and how long you have to wait to get these things. So if there was no transfer option, we'd be lucky to maybe be in a position to have it for next summer. So I think we're interested in transferring it to try to salvage some of this season and to just start out with it. And then if we need to scale it back from there, you know, we'll be thoughtful about that. But again, if it didn't currently exist, we wouldn't have a prayer of having any kind of outdoor seating until the end of next summer if we were lucky.
Okay. Does anybody else have anything? Okay,
Thank you.
thanks. Okay. The next application is going to be the Lorian New York City LLC, doing business as the Lorian at 72 Grove.
C3.
Oh, sorry. C3.
I heard Dr. Smith is carrying on the roof down.
Listen. That's good. It's been one of those. So that's good. Share. I got it. Yes. Let me check that out.
Good evening, Joseph Levy here on behalf of the Lorian 72 Grove Street proposed on-premise liquor license application. I have with me the principal. I'd like Franco to introduce himself, speak a little bit about himself and the concept, and then we'll get into the application materials.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, thank you for the trust. I don't know if you remember me. We met, I think it was 7 years ago, for Freeville. It was on 48 West 8th Street. And you guys approved the liquor license. So far, we have been open for 7 years now. They've been very successful and part of the community. So that's you know, it's memorable. This new restaurant that we're trying to open in 72 Grove tend to be a more casual side of what we do at Freeville, because Freeville is very small. It's a little bit exclusive. The price point is very high. This one's going to be 65 seats and much more casual, and an average check's supposed to be half of what it is at Freeville right now.
Which would be what, just to avoid the
I
question
think it
being
would be
asked?
150. Yeah, the Freeville is about $300-$350 and much higher. Southern European, Mediterranean cooking. There's not going to be any DJ or just background music. Same pattern that we have been doing for the past 7 years. Just the cooking and the ambience of the place is going to be just a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more chill.
Franco's a Michelin star chef from Freeville, as you've heard. We're seeking a full liquor license here with a temporary permit as well. It's a restaurant. It will be reservation only. It's going to operate from 5 p.m. to midnight, 7 days a week, closing 11:30 in practice to make sure that we stay under that midnight.
The last call is at 11:30. Nobody's in after 11:30.
Correct. Background music only, no outdoor seating at all. Max occupancy of 74, 9 tables, 41 seats, 1 bar with 25 stools. It's about 2,000 square feet total. We have 52 petition signatures. We also have a letter from the Block Association and have received positive feedback from many of the neighborhood groups we've reached out to.
Which block association? Just out of curiosity.
Grove Street Block
Okay.
Association.
Okay, then there's no outside seating,
Correct,
no TVs.
correct.
How many parties? Private parties?
Maximum 65, let's say.
How many?
65 people.
No, private parties, how many
Private
private
parties?
parties a year?
A year.
Um. Okay, and traffic plan for the cars again. Because I anticipate that there will be a number of for-hire vehicles with the Michelin
So-
star strap and a car thing, and
Yes,
it's a
so-
short block, you do have a fire hydrant in front, so that gives you at least one spot that maybe will be open, except for the ones that sit there and wait all night while the people are eating, as they tend to do.
They will have dedicated personnel to keep the frontage clear, cars, people, everything.
I want to talk about this a little bit more. This is because of some of the street closures that are around there. There's an inordinate amount of traffic that goes down here. And it's really important that it's clear. So if one car stops, it screws up.
Yep.
Everything.
Yep.
And that can't be understated, because this is just this strange part of what happens here.
Yep.
And so I don't know how you resolve that, because a car can't even stop.
Right, because it can't get there.
Because that's the outlet of all the stuff traffic that makes the mistake of crossing in there. And that's always at the peak times, and that's gonna result in horn honking and, because there's nowhere to go, so that's. And then you have a lot of chaos already in that area as well, so I just wondering, just even having staff doesn't really stop that, because if you have a high-end place and somebody calls their car, the pin where they are is where they are, and they come there. And even if they wait 2 minutes to come out, so I don't know how you resolve that, but that's a huge outsized impact. It's probably one of the few places where that impact actually can happen.
Yeah, it's a big impact. We've talked about it, and they're gonna have to work through this. Like I said, they're dedicated people outside to keep people moving, to keep cars moving. It's reservation only, so that they have an understanding of who's coming and how many people, and they can control that. And, you know, they're just gonna have to be vigilant about it.
It's not a plan.
Well, they'll have to create a plan based on, you know, what develops.
Have you guys spoken to the Boucherie guys, like 2 buildings over, about how they manage flow? They have a pretty sizable space
Yeah,
too.
no, not about the flow. That's what.
It might be helpful
Also-
because then you have a very jammed up block.
Also,
It's suggested, yeah, take that.
It was that Seventh Avenue with, I mean, across the street. Anybody else from the committee have anything? Okay, we'll go to the public. Nancy Paisley.
Thank you, Donna. I guess maybe you can confirm if the Central Village Block Association supports this application, then I would not be in a position to oppose it. Much as I hate to see someplace going from nothing to a full license, 0 to 60 in 30 seconds with a high-end setup, destination restaurant, and open until midnight. This is just, I have no particular love for Starbucks, but this is so completely, and there's lots of other places. We have coffee, of course, fine. But this is taking over our neighborhood, and I can't, if the Block Association is all right with it, then I don't.
We didn't, from what I've seen, we have not received anything from the Central Village Block Association. And we, to my knowledge, did not receive anything from the Grove Street Block Association. So,
Okay, oh, well, Grove Street doesn't generally do anything
okay,
across the avenue. Um. So, okay,
okay.
I'm unhappy with this for the reasons stated.
Thank you.
Sorry, Don, I didn't put it down, but I'll give you a
fine,
speaker's
go ahead.
card. I will make it brief. I'm Leslie Clark with West Village Residents Association.
You can tilt this, just tilt it.
We oppose any change from previously unlicensed to licensed, and I will bore you again with the details, which are that 20 years ago, 1 out of every 10 storefronts in zip code 1014 was licensed to sell alcohol. It's now 1 out of 3. Therefore, 1/3 of all commercial space is now dedicated to the service of alcohol. And I think we have to agree that it's the service of alcohol, not food, that makes these businesses run. I have no objection to this one being open till midnight, seems reasonable to me. But since the issue has been raised by members of the committee, I have to say, when it comes to the flow of traffic on this very narrow, and it is a 1-lane street, I have a very hard time thinking that a vague plan to work it out is going to work. Is the restaurant management actually going to tell a patron that they have to wait while their Uber drives around a very long block, as opposed to stopping right there in front of us and causing a traffic jam? I find it very hard to believe that they're gonna do that. I simply don't know what kind of a plan a restaurant can have that it would impose on its customers to prevent a traffic tie-up in an area like this, where you have Christopher and 7th and Grove and West 4th all coming together. And as you pointed out, Christopher is frequently an open street, i.e. closed, therefore causing that much more traffic. I simply don't know what plan is possible, and therefore we would like to know what that is before a decision is made on this license. Thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else on this application? Okay.
We appreciate the comments. Obviously, the traffic
The traffic is a huge issue.
is a real issue.
Because you've also got the concrete medallion, divider on 7th Avenue before you get to your place, which is totally different than what's north of there. And the bike lane and nothing for high-end places, probably gonna attract a lot of black cars on that.
Yeah, and this is, I don't know, that's particularly relevant to our deliberations on this application, but I want to share with you that I've heard that there is talk about trying to pedestrianize Grove between Waverly and West 4th, and some of the speculations as far as 7th South. I don't know how serious any of that is, but I think you should be aware of it, since you're.
I appreciate you bringing that up. Look, obviously, traffic's an issue, and it either benefits everyone, if traffic can flow smoothly, or it hurts everyone if it doesn't. So if you wanna create a stipulation that includes that we're,
I don't know what I mean, I don't have a traffic plan in front of me that shows that something works, so other than a stipulation that says you'll try to reduce traffic, which isn't very enforceable, or even it's meaningless, it's kind of.
Sure, I mean, look, we're happy to engage with, we have a few vendors that we've worked with in the past to work with traffic plans and security companies that have traffic people to try to put plans together. I don't know what the turnaround is on that, but I'm happy to stipulate to use best efforts to try to create a plan and work with our neighbors and understand how the guys at Boucherie do it.
I mean, it's just Boucherie, I'm just gonna say, I don't think you're gonna get more black cars than Boucherie gets. I don't know that they're necessarily neighborhood, but a lot of people walk to Boucherie to go get your establishment is going to be black cars. And you've got a concrete block right in front of it
Yeah.
that Boucherie does not have, and and a turning lane right there that nobody can pull into. It's a different animal, it seems to me.
Again, we're happy to work with any of the rideshare places to pick up and drop off points
And I guess,
somewhere that makes more sense.
right, and I guess that, I think, is to what Carter was saying, where here it makes, you know, other places you can kind of say, well, maybe if you go on, I don't even see where here makes more sense, quite frankly, and I think that's really like the concern
Yeah, so we're
with
happy to.
that. I mean, yeah, because there's a, I mean, if you just look on, but you can't even put them across the street there.
Yeah,
So-
we're happy to dig into that and try to get creative, just from a timing standpoint. I can't lay this over to do that,
Right.
but I'm happy to stipulate that, you know, we will and keep them apprised.
Okay, right, does anybody else on the committee have anything? No. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the next one is going to be Lume West Village, doing business as Lume, 259 West Fourth. This is they have a restaurant, on-premise restaurant license, and this is a method of operation change to change the setting of the rooftop equipment timer from 10 PM to midnight. Whichever one you want, sorry, whichever one you want to use, just make sure you speak into it.
I don't have lawyers on, but I
So
do
you-
my best to explain it.
All right, so you might have to tilt that one up or use the other one because,
So I'm Johan Pesce, managing partner at Lume West Village, and I'm here tonight to ask a change of method of operation and to extend the timer for exhaust from 10 PM to midnight.
okay, so the materials say you're working to fix the vent.
So the beginning of the story is we inherit of an exhaust that was not compliant with the fire code. So we had to install a little hatch in order like to clean the exhaust and be compliant with the fire code. And from there, it start like from what we heard, like he start to bring a little bit more vibration and maybe some noise.
Exactly.
So now we are trying to settle between both parties, like there is a settlement, so I cannot really talk about, but between the engineer from the co-op and our engineer to find out, like they already found a solution, like to.
So why don't, I'm just gonna throw this out, which is what, why don't you see if you solve this problem? Lay this application over or withdraw this application and see if you can solve the problem. And come back when the problem is solved.
The problem is like right now, it's not the 10 PM closing, it start to be not sustainable for our restaurant because it means for us that we have to take the last table at 8:30 or 9 in order like to use the exhaust and like for my kitchen team, when they clean the kitchen, they need to reopen the exhaust in order to not suffocate.
The flip side, though, I would turn around and say the people that live in the building need to be able to sleep and not have a vibration going on. These things are a huge problem. We hear this all the time.
The thing, we already spent like a huge amount, like we already installed some, sorry, I noted because I'm some rubber to lower the vibration. The thing is like, we would like at least to be like San Andreas and be able to close it at 11 PM in order like to be able to serve until like 9 PM, like because now is very difficult for us to operate and for our kitchen to clean and be compliant with this 10 PM closing.
But I mean, those were the stipulations that were signed and because of the problems, you know, because people were concerned about the problems, I think, and I think the co-op has something in their information, their condo rules that say that, photograph or radio, or the audible device utilizing speaker, including but not limited to commercial industrial equipment. Collectively noise generating equipment in such owner's unit or other space in the building between the hours of 10 PM and 8 AM. I mean, I didn't, so. They've got a quiet time in their building rules that are between 10 PM and 8 AM.
So the thing is that Sombreros and Extra Virgin have been open for like over like 20, 30 years and can operate until at the time it
It's
was.
been a problem, or it hasn't been, I mean, I don't, you know. So there are people here from the public on it, so why don't we hear from them? Does the committee have anything to say before I go to the public on this? Okay, so why don't I go to the public? I have Dolly Mirren. And Leslie Clark. You might have.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you might have to just tighten that knob that's halfway down, right up above your hand, yeah, just so it doesn't slide.
Okay. My name is Dolly Myron. I live at the building, 259 West 4th Street. And just to the point about Extra Virgin, they turned the fan off at 10 PM. They stayed open a little bit later, but the rooftop fan was off at 10 PM and it was on a timer. The San Andreas is also supposed to be off at 10. That's obviously not any part of this discussion here now. As you stated, and as I sent to you, the condo rules are explicit. Quiet time has to be 10 PM to 8 AM. And in terms of the stipulations that were signed 2 years ago, the Lume has kept the equipment on pretty regularly past 10 PM. And it doesn't go off at the same time, so it seems like it's not actually on a timer. But at the end of the day, the condo rules are what really dictate the hours.
Thank you.
Leslie Clark, West Village residents. I'm just here to confirm what Dolly said. West Village residents was involved with the tenants of this building 2 years ago when we negotiated stipulations here. This was a very important stipulation to the tenants here because many people live right underneath this fan and ventilation. And at the time, 10 PM was chosen because it is part of the bylaws of the building. So this is not a question of something that is open to discussion with the state liquor authority. This is not allowed by the building. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. You want to, I don't know, you know, seems clear if it's not allowed by the building, it's not allowed by the building, but we'll discuss the, come up to the mic, I mean, you're welcome to speak, yeah.
I was not aware that is one on that it was on the building policy. I don't have access to it, so like my landlord is the one having access. The thing is, what we were expecting is like, in order to survive, it was like at least like 11 PM closing, like in order, like, because for us, and especially everybody knows here, like with the rent that in West Village now, we are still a mom and pop's business, so I'm not a big company, so if we cannot move the stipulation to 11 PM, it's gonna be difficult for us to survive. Because it's cutting a one sitting, like basically after 8:30, we will have to shut down and it would be a last customer and finish.
Okay, quick question. So your application says that you have an engineer and along with the buildings engineer working on modifications to the exhaust to reduce vibration and ensure a new position on the rooftop is more secure. The work is expected to take place in a few months. But you know, you have to take out the DOB permits and approvals. I guess why don't you just do that? in the last 2 years, why wasn't that, why didn't you just do it the last 2 years? And
So the thing we try to remedy,
Remedy is
issue,
right,
the,
yes.
the issue with the neighbor, so we started just to, I'm gonna be here. We spend over like, for a small business like us, like $30,000 in order like to make the exhaust compliant. Then after to install the rubber, then I cannot talk here, but some lawyer were involved between our landlord and the co-op. And this, from there, we couldn't move, we couldn't move one foot because the time, like, it goes to a lawyer, to another, then the co-op engineer to our engineer. And it's gonna be like, at the end of the story, it's gonna be another $30,000 or $40,000 to invest in order to make it like more easy for Dolly. And I understand that it can be very annoying. Is just like, which I try to find like a path like between what Dolly live and us to survive, because even if we leave tomorrow, it's gonna be another one after. And they know it's gonna be very difficult for every restaurant operating in this place.
Yeah, but what I'm hearing from people and from the letters and things like that, though, is, I mean, you agreed specifically that it'd go off at 10, and you have not been complying with that. And so now you're seeking permission to change it, but you haven't been complying with the rules.
So what happened when we, I don't wanna say extend, is like the team, my team, they know they have to shut it down at 10, but it happened in several times that the kitchen, they need to put some acid, some very strong detergent, and they were like suffocating, so sometimes they were reopening it. And that, I'm very sorry about that, sometimes they were reopening it and not closing it after, so like. Okay, I mean, that I understand the 10 PM.
Mark, do we have another microphone? That one just went out. Yeah, we have two here, okay, here, Tom.
For a second, I'm sure it's just the battery.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm just letting you know that, you know, some of the reports we're getting from community people, some of the written testimony and things say that it has been consistently running past 10, pretty much since you started operations, and you may dispute that. I'm just letting you know what we're hearing too.
Just a question about the condo or the co-op board and the lease. So the co-op board doesn't allow the restaurant to operate after 10 o'clock, or it's specifically to the farm,
It's the condo.
the condo?
The condo says that there's.
Dolly, just do me one favor, just come up to the microphone.
The condo board, because the restaurant is part of the condominium.
Okay, I understand that, but so is there a sublease then for, like, is there a landlord, is it the same landlord that owns the condo?
No, no,
The
there's, the co-op is a unit within the condominium. The commercial spaces are owned by somebody else. And the condominium, the whole building, the whole condominium, not just the co-op, have to follow the condominium bylaws and the condo declaration, including the rules and regulations.
Which state that they can't be open after 10 o'clock at night?
No, they can be open. The equipment cannot be on, the noise.
Well, and actually, you correct me if I'm wrong, but it can be on if it's not causing a disturbance. If you're complaining about it.
If it's very, very quiet.
Right. Right,
But
right.
this isn't, and again, just to the point that Extra Virgin had been open for 20 years, had no problem turning it off at 10 PM every night.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, I think, are we good? I know, okay. Okay, the next one's going to be 4T USA Inc. doing business as Mi Garba, 310 Bleecker Street.
Which one's this?
This is item A3. Alteration to add backyard seating. So. Yeah. Right.
All right. Bill Dorn on behalf of the applicant for TUSA. Next to me is Pierre David Boyd. This is an alteration application to add backyard space to a space that's been fully licensed for 5 years now. This is Mi Garba, which is located at 310 Bleecker. These guys were before you, like I said, back in 2021, when they filed their liquor license application originally. And in that first appearance before you, they had included the backyard as part of the application. After some concerns over potential noise and other operational issues, they agreed to remove the backyard from the application. Now, after 5 years of proving themselves as good operators, they are seeking to add that yard space to the liquor license footprint. As far as some of these operational concerns go, the applicant received a ton of support from people who live very close to the rear yard. In fact, 7 people who live directly above the yard wrote letters of support, which are included in the packet. There are more than 7 letters. There are a great deal of them, but 7 specifically who look right down upon the backyard. Pierre also met with the Christopher Street Block Association with a letter of support in the packet from those guys. Met with Grove Street Block Association, BAMRA. He reached out to Grove Street and BAMRA, did not hear back from them. The reason he feels so good about the support he received is twofold. One, as I mentioned, they've proven themselves over the last 5 years as really strong operators and I know we've heard this a lot tonight, but a neighborhood friendly business. But the other is because they have tried to make a lot of concessions this time around to hopefully work with the people who might have concerns that may have raised those concerns back in 2021. So I'll list them out now. The concessions are that the backyard space will close at 9 p.m. each night. And there will be a final seating of 7:30. So after 7:30, no one can be seated outside. There will be no music outside. There will be 8 seats only. It's 4 tables. They're each 2 tops, so 8 seats total. And if this appeases the board, I don't know if this is something the board is interested or not, but we're happy to agree to it, to do no reservations outside. The reasoning behind that would be so that the restaurant could screen groups, if you will, to see if it's a group that might be rowdy or might be noisier than another group, and they can elect to not seat them outside, as opposed to if it's a reservation system, then anyone could theoretically book that space. It's just something creative that the applicants thought of that we thought the board might like. So with those tips, with the outpouring of support that we've received, especially from those that stand to be impacted by this, we hope that you reconsider the decision and allow us to alter the application.
Okay, so, I think some of the concerns also is the rear yard is shared with the other commercial 308 and 310, Bleecker share the same rear yard.
Yep.
So it's not their exclusive use of the rear yard, goes all the way back,
Yeah.
anybody can be back there, there's no division.
That's right, but we would have a designated seating area for the 310 business.
But there's nothing that really keeps those, I mean, unless you're watching the people, there's nothing that keeps those people there versus the second part of the space or the place next door. I'm just,
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me today.
Yeah,
I really appreciate your time. Regarding that, we are creating, I believe there is a rendering on on your files right in front of you. We're creating a sort of like pergola roof as the first one in order to contain anything, that goes up. We have a acoustician reports, attached with it. And basically on the perimeter of the pergola, we will put flowers, planters, like at 5 feet high, so people they cannot go anywhere except where it's designated for those 4 little tables. So there is not gonna be any way for them to like, oh, let me go and take a selfie. That's what we don't want, so.
Right, okay. And then egress.
Egress goes through the, oh, you know, I actually
But I
don't know
think,
if it's included in the packet, but we have a letter from our architect that basically speaks to the compliance of egress through the building. I have copies with me if you'd like it.
just. Hang on a second. Yeah, that, I would like that. We have that. but-
Also, excuse me, I also have another letter from the same architect who speaks to the fact that the outdoor space is able to be used for eating and drinking. I know that that might have been raised several years ago. I'll hand that to you as well.
Yeah. Super steep egress was a problem too.
That's a letter about the
Yeah.
compliance of the egress. That is a letter about the compliance of eating and drinking.
Do you guys have any permit, any writing whatsoever from the Department of Building that allows eating and drinking in that rear yard space?
The letter from the architect is.
Well, the letter from the architect says that the first floor is as designated as a place of eating and drinking. And in no way establishes any limitation on the ability to occupy the rear yard, but usually. With a code compliant number of occupants constructed in a code compliant manner. And I think from what we had in our resolutions before was that. So. That there was only going to be, at that time. 12 seats outside. To match the occupancy levels for the interior portion of the storefront, the certificate of occupancy presented, which covers both buildings and storefronts of 308, 310, does not permit eating and drinking at the rear yard. Areas of either 308 or 310, much less the combination of the 2 yards, have also been considered, but the proper egress, the applicant's architect, this was back. In 2021, also appeared and indicated occupancy was limited because there was only one means of egress in the building through the single storefront. So to be licensed, 310 Bleecker, as there's no sprinkler system installed within the building. So that was. The concern.
Yeah, so I'll say that the way it's written is
Doesn't-
a little sneaky. It's not that the C of O says there's no eating and drinking, it's that the C of O doesn't speak to eating and drinking in the rear yard.
Well, okay,
But
and I'm gonna
the
say sneaky works both ways, so our resin reads one way and this letter from the architect reads the other way, because nor does it affirm.
Look at the last sentence.
That for zoning code, the rear yard may be used, we had this the other night. Zoning code may allow it, but is it allowed in this particular building for this particular rear yard with the construction of this particular building? That is my question. The zoning code allowing it in X, Y, and Z area doesn't mean that it's allowed in this particular location, and this is, we went through this exactly also on Tuesday night with another application.
I mean, I don't know how much more we could provide other than.
Something from DOB.
A letter of no objection allows eating and drinking in the rear yard.
This
You
is the
need
letter.
something that says that from the DOB.
This is a letter from a DOB expert saying that it's allowed. I mean, we hire experts to do, I'm not a DOB expert. I can't bring the DOB in here, but I can get someone
Format.
who's an expert in this to say that it's allowed.
But you can request a statement from DOB that says that, and that's what a letter of no objection is. It's not a filing. It's a
Sure, but even
paperwork.
if we, as everyone here knows, DOB permits take months and months and months. Who
It's
knows?
not
how
a-
objective-
It's not a permit.
It's a letter of no
No
objection.
objection,
I understand,
it's a no work permit. I mean, it's no work letter. You
Right.
request it because it's
There's nothing-
done with the review of their records.
So
that they
there's
have.
nothing that says this is not allowed.
Well, that's exactly right. That it doesn't work the other way. You can't do it the way safety works.
buildings is they allow a permitted use. It's not a silence. The presumption isn't, if it's silent, you can do it.
Well, that's why we consulted with an expert who said we can do it. That's as much as I can present to here in an SLA proceeding regarding DOB matters. We have an expert opinion that we feel confident that the expert's opinion.
So as Donna alluded to, we talked about this just 2 days ago with another applicant. It's really important to me that when applicants come, that people are treated fairly, if there's no favoritism, the standards are treated the same. We ask for a letter or a notice or something from the DOB about outdoor uses pretty much all the time. I've been on this committee a very long time. I can't remember a time we didn't. I'm not saying there maybe wasn't. Maybe I forgot something or I missed something, I was absent, but I'm telling you, in all the years, I can't ever remember not asking for it. So for you to sit there and say, I can't get one, that's crazy or something, when everybody else in this neighborhood, every other applicant does. Okay.
That's not true. First of all, I did not say that's crazy, and I apologize if I came off that way, but not every applicant comes forth with a DOB certified letter or letter of no objection. Every applicant does certify that they will abide by all DOB regulations and laws and zoning codes, as do we. I've said this at this committee in the past. If there's any violation.
Outdoor spaces on this committee?
Yeah.
Can you go and show me the places and come back to me with a list of places where we approved an outdoor without something like that?
That's what I was here for.
No, which one was that?
NADC, that, we didn't have a letter of no objection.
You had extensive letters showing the egress and all these other things with that, yeah,
That's.
and something else with that.
You didn't have a letter of no
And
objection.
it was. And that one was beer and wine also.
But what does that have to do with it?
The standards.
You had 5 years to do this. Because we had the same exact discussion 5 years ago.
Look, I've said this to you for others.
So I'm just in response to it takes time. And there is a process at the Department of Buildings where clarification, and we've had them issue violations that the rear yard can't be used at places when there was no permits in place, so.
Look, the SLA understands that, we are certifying that we have to abide by all these rules. If this is an alteration application, this is our opportunity to come to some sort of middle ground with this committee. If not, I mean, we understand that the SLA is not asking for a letter of no objection either. So this heightened standard is something that we're having.
The first question is always, can you be there?
Of course, and we are.
And we don't have an answer. No, you have some vaguely worded thing that said it might be. But there doesn't say that it's supposed to, because if that were the case, just to play this out, then why do we get certificate of occupancies that show that the rear yard is allowable for use for eating and drinking? And why do letters of no objection that are issued say, and have been interpreted by DOB that they're for the interior only? When they say first floor or ground floor, it doesn't include outdoor uses.
I'm not a DOB expert, I can't speak.
No, but I'm just saying, that's why this is a very vague letter.
I can't speak to why some certificates of occupancy speak to certain spaces, some do not, some are 50 years old, some are 100 years old. The DOB and certificates of occupancy work in a funny way, and everyone here knows that. So I'm not an expert, I'm not gonna make myself out to be an expert, just to say why this specific space has.
So you had 5 years, so I mean, that's why.
I'm here before you today, I mean, sure, you can dwell on the last 5 years, but in the last 5 years, we've proven to be wonderful operators. I think we have a lot of support that's both in the letters and here today. I'd love to hear them speak. This is an issue that ultimately, you know, we feel confident that we can proceed with.
Okay. I don't see anything. Let's just, what?
So the remedy here is that a complaint is filed immediately when the use begins. And that's not a very good way for any of us to conduct ourselves. But that's what you're asking for, because you're forcing us without an explicit documentation, the Department of Buildings, to do it that way. I don't think that that's a particularly good way for everybody to move forward as far as determining uses and whether something can be used or not. And that's the only way to determine in the end if it's an allowable use. Because that would be up to an investigator from the Department of Buildings coming and reviewing the documentation in response to a complaint. I just don't think that's a very good way.
I don't like starting off on that foot either, but we feel confident through the experts that we've hired that we can use this space for eating and drinking. So if that's
But
what has
the
to
Department of
happen.
Buildings is the agency that
So then
determines
let that
that.
happen.
No, but I'm just saying, it's a simple remedy, and that's getting something from them that says it can be used.
That's not so simple.
There is, file for a letter of no objection where you state your case, and then they send you a letter back that says what you can and can't do.
So do you wanna stipulate that we will pursue
No.
this document?
The reason I don't wanna stipulate to that is because when we try to do that, nobody does that. I mean, well, sometimes they do it, right? But. Okay, I'm gonna go to the public. So I have Joseph. Remiano, it's not that difficult, I was just. That's all right. And then Jordan DeFreitas. Okay, I must have that one.
Hello,
Okay, go ahead.
my name is Joseph Remiano. I'm a native New Yorker and a West Village resident since 2001, homeowner since 2006. I guess being here listening to everybody, you guys know that the neighborhood's changed. Some of the staples are gone, most of them for me. Long lines, loud rooms have plagued the West Village. Pierre, who's the owner of Mi Garba, is the opposite of that. Like it's a great feeling to walk into a restaurant and feel welcomed, but also he knows your name, you know, instead of going to other restaurants. We are so shocked that you've been in the neighborhood so long and you're lucky enough you're in the system and you give them your name and they even, maybe they have something that you're there a bunch and you might get one time you get to a table. This is not the guy you stop. This is the guy you support. And it's disappointing to see the response that I just saw. And it threw me totally off my game because I thought at one point, everybody knew what was going on. Like, you know, the neighborhood, you know, these lines, you know, the cars getting blocked. This is the guy you back. Like, this is the neighborhood guy. That's all I have to say. I had so much more to say, but I just can't even believe what I just heard.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep.
My name is Joy DeFreitas. I've lived on the corner of Christopher and Bleecker for 40 years. I'm a regular at Mi Garba, partly because it is actually a lot of what you're looking for. It is more accessible, it's more affordable. It's also, though, the reason I go there is because of Pierre. He does know my name. I've seen people get engaged in front of the restaurant. Pierre actually introduced me to a neighbor in my building who's lived with the same landlord for 60 years. So here we've been neighbors for 40 years. We don't know each other. I mentioned to Pierre that I really wanted to be gardening. He introduced me to the man that runs the Sheridan Square Triangle Garden, and now I volunteer there. This is a business you want to support. This is community. This is exactly what I really want and feel that our neighborhood has been robbed of a little bit. But I just would love to see him succeed. I'd love to see the restaurant continue. I also think he told me the parameters for that garden. I think they're very, very reasonable. 8 tables closing at 9 o'clock. I also think that with respect, a business that has done this much, and he took 5 years to prove himself as a community member, not 5 years to not file certain papers. We know this. Like, please respect him and respect somebody who really wants to contribute to our neighborhood. Thank you for hearing me out.
Thanks.
Wait. Question.
Question.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Thank you for your testimony. You're saying you live in the neighborhood. I just want to see, do you live, like, does your apartment back up onto that door?
This is not, but
Okay,
I
thank
live within a half a block. And I was just establishing myself as a long-time neighborhood person.
Yeah, thanks. Sure.
Good evening. My name is Luca Miosola. Sorry, I'm gonna read because it's been nervous to speak in public. So, I'm the husband of Coco. She's been living in 310 Baker Street for the past 9 years. I've been there for 2 years and a half. I literally live about the backyard on the first floor. I spoke with Pierre many times about the new project, the idea to open the garden on the back, have a couple of tables, a couple of people, and I was like, wait a second, leave it there, it's gonna be busy. So no, only 8 people, 4 tables, easy, aperitivo, by 9 o'clock, everybody's gonna be inside, no problem. So we are really confident that Pierre and the team will respect all these rules, they're gonna work hard on that. So we are really supporting this fight.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Susan Ginsburg?
Yes, I support Mi Garba as well, and I do not exactly face, but at my garden, I live on Barrow Street. And my garden is directly behind 42 Grove Street, so I'm directly behind Isodi and Bouvet. And also Accolade outdoor spaces, and we've all been very tough. We try to be tough to keep the noise down because we live there. Pierre is he is such a great operator in terms of what everybody else has just said, in terms of respecting it, respecting all of us. It's a neighborhood place. There's so few of them anymore. You know, it just breaks your heart. And as we all know. And you know, it's a reasonably priced restaurant. And I know that when he says that he's put his mind to doing this garden with a few tables and it will close, that it will be quiet. He would be too nervous not to enforce it because that would be not to his, the restaurant's not lousy. And he's wanted to have tables on the sidewalk. He can't get them because the sidewalks are too narrow. And, you know, we want something like this. And anyway, I have all these other places in the backyard that, sometimes I even listen. They say, oh my God, I'm hearing that from there. No. Anyway, I'm really neurotic about this imposing in my space. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Leslie?
Yeah, again, Leslie Clark, West Village Residents Association. I was with a group that met with him about this space. In fact, it wasn't everybody was not in favor of it. So I want to challenge the notion that the neighbors were all in favor of it. They certainly are not all in favor of it. Also, the photographs that were sent to you that are part of this application make it look like they give a false impression. The buildings behind here are 6 stories high. So there are a hell of a lot more people that are going to be hearing this than are visible in those photographs. Not only that, but the tall buildings, and they are tall over this, create one of these echo effects in that backyard. So you have people who will not have a choice about whether or not they are hearing diners under their windows. Backyard spaces are an issue with us. Because they are an issue with residents who don't have a choice about this. And as you have pointed out, there is a clear question here about whether they have the right to be in the backyard at all. And therefore, we are opposed to this application.
Yeah, hi. Do you know how many units back up onto that?
I can't tell you. There are 6 floors.
Mm-hmm.
There are 2 buildings with 6 floors, and I guess there's like maybe five or six windows in each.
Okay.
So it's hard to tell how many are there 3 windows per unit? I don't know.
Yeah.
But these are much higher than what they show in the photographs that they submitted.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nancy, were you gonna speak on this?
Sorry, let's just say one thing regarding your question. All our block on 310, all the building and 3 stories high. The one that Leslie's talking about, that is 5 floors, is the one on Grove on the other side.
Right, behind it.
Yeah, just wanna.
That was not my question.
Yeah, Nancy Paisley again, and like Leslie, I'm speaking in opposition to this application. It doesn't give me any pleasure because this is not about the restaurant, and this is not about Pierre. He is a great guy. It is a lovely neighborhood friendly place. That's not the issue here. The issue is the use of the backyard. When we met with Pierre 5 years ago, when he was starting out, this was an issue. And we finally talked him out of having anything in the backyard, which he wanted to have. And he put something on the sidewalk instead. We were fine with that. I don't know if he can get the sidewalk now or not. Maybe so, maybe not. You're saying no.
I didn't look, but he's saying no, so I trust you.
Well, what he said to me more recently is that it wasn't working out financially or that customers weren't comfortable there, not that it was not available. I can't really speak to that. But when we met with him, Leslie was there, and to go back a minute, my co-op is around the corner here, and our windows, especially bedroom windows, overlook directly this courtyard space. In addition, the 3 stories or 3.5 on Bleecker in this block are commercial on the ground floor and residential above, so that's, I don't know how many, couple dozen, and the building at 42 Grove, which you will see in the picture there, goes all the way back, almost all the way back through the lot, so those are all residential and I think rentals. We told Pierre 5 years ago we could not support the outdoor. He withdrew that concept, and on that basis, we supported the application. We're happy to do so. I've talked with him several times in the last month, including a meeting, and I said, again, we cannot support anything in the yard. I'm not a DOB expert either, but I don't think he has a C of O for this. If you look at his diagram, it's very clear he does not have a second means of egress, which I understand is necessary. And, you know, it's unfortunate because I think his landlord told him 5 years ago he could do whatever he wanted in the backyard. That turned out not to be true. Well, the landlord told him something that wasn't true. My goodness. Those of us that met with him from my building, and also Leslie was there, and also from the BBC Block Association, were in opposition to this, and we still are. If he can get a C of O, maybe that's a different issue, but I don't like having anything in this, which is essentially one of the famous donuts. The noise reverberates and echoes. And we're opposed. Thank you.
Wait, Nancy was.
So just can you, since you're more familiar, just the rundown of the space of the uses, right? Because this has gone from eating and drinking back to retail, back to eating and drinking, is that correct?
I'm sorry, I can't quite hear you, Carter.
I said the history of the location, it's gone from eating and drinking back to retail use, back to eating and drinking. And was the restaurant at one time actually in 2 storefronts?
Yes, the prior restaurant, I think it was called Vittorio.
Right.
Vittorio, they had the 2 storefronts. And I believe they had tables in the back, and I believe either it wasn't that much of a deal, or they had egress through 2 buildings.
Right, so what I remember that in splitting off the retail, which is in the space next door, it left the applicant now, I think, having to lease the full backspace, if I remember. So he leases the rear of another building that's not his, which just goes to what you were saying, that there's confusion from the landlord. It's actually 2 owners, 2 separate ownerships for the 2 buildings.
Yeah.
So it's a complicated situation.
Next door is a retail, where it was once part of a 2 storefront restaurant. And if Pierce has been made to pay rent on space he can't use, I think that's a real pity. But I don't think that's something I can solve for him, and I don't think it's something this committee should solve for him. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for the history.
Thank you, everyone. Just a few points I'd like to make based on what was addressed. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone for the support. It's clear that we do have a lot of outspoken support. Cormac, I know you were asking about who looks over the backyard.
How many?
I don't have that number, how many units, but I can say that we have the one gentleman here who lives directly above, and we have 7 letters. I'm happy to point them out specifically in the packet, which ones they all directly look over.
I mean, that was the purpose of my question. We did have the one gentleman, we also had the one woman who doesn't, who looks out and is opposed. That was part of what I was trying to get at, is trying to figure out if 7 is a high percentage or a low percentage. Like if 7 isn't impressive if it's 120 units. 7 is very impressive if it's, 12 units. That's what I'm trying to,
I don't have the total number. I can say it's closer to the latter than the former. It's not none of them are high rises, and it's a relatively small backyard. It's not hundreds of units, but I don't know.
Do you know if you have them from the behind part, I think is what Cormac, because the taller buildings are behind, so that's just do you know if you have?
I don't know that.
Okay, because I know a lot, I did see the ones of support from the building and right on that side, yes, I saw that.
Maybe I can add to that.
Right, but the yard, the issue isn't that necessarily just the neighborhood buildings, the ones opposite.
Of course.
And in the.
I'm in the backyards.
Okay, so do you know how many people are back there?
I don't know exactly how
Okay,
many,
just
but
come up to the microphone.
okay, I don't know how many exactly.
How many bedrooms face the rear yard
I would say probably 6.
from the back building?
Yeah, but remember, you're talking about the tall building, that
Yeah.
overlooks Isodi and Bouvet.
Right.
Outdoor space. So there's the short.
They have, I just wanna point something out, just so that it's on the record, they have the proper permits. They have the
No,
letter.
I'm not saying that they
Well, I
don't.
just, but that wasn't stated, so I just wanna make sure that that is stated, that they have the proper permits for using those rear yards.
Okay, I'm just saying that the tall building looks over them, looks over Bouvet and Isodi. He's a good half a block away from that. So the people that looks out over Bleecker Street or these.
Well, we're not gonna keep going back
I'm
and
just
forth
telling
over
you that,
this.
okay, it's
Nancy, we're not going back and forth over this. We're just not, I mean, unless there's something pertinent, really pertinent to say here.
This is the space in question, and this is the building in full.
That's Grove Street.
The photo in the application shows the rear yard bricked.
Yeah.
Brick pavement and directly, which is the space we're talking about, and directly behind it is the wall of 42 Grove. Which is residential. Other than the ground floor.
Okay,
No one-
all right, so, but guys, public, done. Go ahead.
So no one knows the true number, no one's gonna
Right,
try to make
right,
it up,
yeah,
you know, the true
exactly.
number, but I would say that it's not a massive amount. Just a few other points that I'd like to quickly make, just to try to address some of the other concerns. There was no attempt to conceal any photos. We are asked to take photos of the applicant business, not of the neighboring. That's just not what we're asked to do. Egress, I submitted the other letter. I don't know if you had a chance to read it, but as far as 2 means of egress versus 1, I know you guys don't like our architect letters, but it is a letter explaining the compliance of the single means of egress. As far as sound and the word sound tunnel, I think was used, we retained GZA, a world-renowned sound engineer business to conduct a sound study. It's included in the packet. That took a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of finances, and we are happy with the result. There are words in the back that basically speak to the fact that with the use of the 8 seats, it will be compliant with the noise code, and that the units above will not be disturbed. And then I think, just to clear it up, the 2 storefronts versus 1, I don't really know how it's relevant, but the 2 storefronts are the same landlord, not different landlords.
There are 2 separate entities that own each building. That's what's on the city property record.
It's the same layer.
Like I said, there's 2 separate entities that own each property. They may be the same owner of those entities, but it is 2 separate entities. And it's a 2-page application for an LNO. That's $140.
Thank you, Bart.
And you just put attachments on.
Okay, are we done? Okay, we're done, thank you.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming. Okay. The next one is going to be 20 Fonte LLC, doing business as Fonte's Bodega, 20 Christopher Street. That is B1.
I should have the Teresa. I don't think we're just, it's so much to send it when I got full board. Numbers are right there.
Would you like one?
I apologize, the pictures did not print great.
Okay.
So
Is it
this
anything different than what's in?
No,
No. Okay.
nothing different. This is a beer and wine application for 20 Fonte LLC, which is at 20 Christopher Street. It's doing business as Fonte's Deli Ducon. This is an all-day bodega and Indian-inspired sandwich shop. Opened in September and decided that they would like to expand their offerings to include beer and wine. Open 7 AM to 11 PM. And they have a food counter with 6 seats and then 5 tables with 10 seats.
Okay, so my first question, it says this is a restaurant. Is it a restaurant or a tavern? I don't believe they have, what would the liquor authority would consider
The
the
full
service,
kitchen?
full kitchen under this service of a chef
just-
with a full menu, a full
Yeah.
course menu item, so
They just serve sandwiches, so
I
I would
have
tend
a
to
good
agree with you.
sandwiches and salads, we just went through this, also
Yeah.
on Tuesday night is a tavern, so
Okay.
we would need an amended 30
No
day
problem.
notice for
Can
that.
we email that to you?
Yeah.
Okay, I would agree with you.
Okay, all right, so solve that one. It's background music, no TVs, promoted events, no third party promote, it's a,
Correct, no delivery either.
I know, okay. Okay, so. It's a snapshot, yeah.
Just sandwiches.
Yeah,
Yes.
our menu is mostly Indian style sandwiches and also we sell like items like sodas, orange
Potato
juice,
chips,
Yeah.
coffee, chai. Indian chai cuisine is 1%.
okay, so,
And they have garbage pickup every day and 3 bins. Mhm.
okay, so. The previous. Person that was in here wanted the license, and so there were issues because this space used to be. It's in an R6 zone,
Mhm.
it was a storefront, but the other half of it was an apartment.
Yeah.
And then somehow. There are no records for when the apartment and the kitchen went away and it all became a storefront. And so there are concerns that you're not allowed to expand a non-conforming use in an R6 zone, so that's the first concern. And, there's a violation on it about that I don't believe, I couldn't find anything showing that that violation has been cleared up. Regarding that taking over of the apartment and building a storefront, and I don't think there's any proper certificate of occupancy for that.
The only one that we found is the one I included in the packet.
Okay. So, I think, which notes the apartment, okay, so that notes the apartment. And. Yeah. And there's no plans showing when the installation of the kitchen. Where the apartment used to be was approved. And then the DOB violations. I mean, it says that the work was done without a permit at the time of inspection, observed commercial space at the first 4-story. Took over the rear apartment. and a kitchen for the restaurant, and then this inspector checked the I-card on the apartment of the building. There's nothing was ever filed, the apartment should still be there, and no permit was filed to do so, and to date, nothing's been filed, so it seems like it's not in a legal space, or at least it doesn't have it hasn't gone through the process for the entire space to be a legal eating and drinking establishment.
So for us, then, would you also want to see an LNO?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you actually have to file. It's a whole, I mean, you can't, because you can't expand it in a commercial use in a R6 zone, because it's contrary to the zoning. So it's actually pretty complicated. It's not just an LNO. They have to actually file for variance,
Okay,
and that's not gonna happen, most likely.
okay.
I mean, just realistically,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, but this is all outlined in the board's previous resolution for this space, because somebody else had filed for it. I'm not sure, was that 2020?
The background stuff.
Would the board be willing to email us what they have, and we can look at it to see if there's a path forward for us?
Yeah, we have our, what is it? It's our 2015 resolution. It was that long ago. Was when, so that was in 2015. Was when this was all outlined in our resolution, but then I was looking, and I'm not the DOB search around expert here. Other people are better at that than I am on this committee, but I found that the one violation I just read to you came from July of 2020.
Okay,
So it hasn't been cleared up since 2015. And then there was some, again, not the expert, but there's some also. One of the issues that I read back on was when that work was done too, it also caused damage to the entire building, and so. There is another. Hang on a second, I just want to see what a job was disapproved, for an alteration 2 was disapproved for strengthening, and replacement of existing floor joists on first floors to third floor rebuild, sidewall, retaining wall strengthening, roof framing as shown on drawings filed here with no change in use, and that plan was disapproved. So I think there are issues that were kind of outlined in our 2015 resolution that are still there. There were more things on DOB, I just didn't keep.
which it sounds to me like not an easy path forward, but that just for this business, you guys don't necessarily disapprove of them having a beer and wine, but everything needs to be cleared up first.
I'd say that's probably the case, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's a pretty easy.
Yeah, exactly, except for
sandwich
nothing's
shop.
easy, right?
Yes.
Cormac, go ahead.
But like, before we wrap up, I mean, the one thing I was gonna ask about, I do notice there's a door from the premises into the residential hall. On the blueprint.
The store, we shared the building, 20 Christopher Street, but it separates from the building like.
Yeah, but there's no doorway that accesses to the hall from the space, because it looked that way on your blueprint, on your floor plan.
We share one door in the back, but that's it.
Right, and this is my point, is like, do you need that door to operate? Oh, for the trash, I see.
Yes.
Okay, so one of the things we'll wanna know about probably is like, what's the security thing on that door to make sure, like, is it gonna be locked and things so that your staff has to go and open it to take out the trash? Cause we often have, public safety concerns about the possibility of people from licensed establishments moving directly from the establishment into the residential hallways, right? And so we're gonna wanna have a clear answer to that and so I just want to tell you now before you come back.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Are there any other questions or anything you guys think that we need to clear up?
Do you have anything to say? No, I don't think so. I think.
So this is essentially a not simple DOB issue.
Exactly.
Sure.
Exactly. So do you want to withdraw this? What, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, this is something you should discuss with the landlord, because they rented you something that doesn't have an allowable commercial
Yeah,
use.
no, I agree.
So I think you might wanna have a conversation first before.
Can I have Harry email you and make that decision if he wants to withdraw or not,
Yeah,
or
no.
do I have to decide that?
No, you can
Okay,
go to talk and.
okay, I'll have him email the board then.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you so
So,
much for your time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. The next one we're going to hear is RemyMidtown LLC doing business as Cheers Union Square, 35 East 13th Street.
Oh, Nancy, did you do
Wait, hang on one second. Nancy, do you want to speak on this? I'm sorry, I didn't go to the, can you hang on one second? Because we did have somebody here from the public on this and that was my mistake. Go ahead, Nancy.
Well, thank you, Donna. I don't have to give a long speech. It's the general standing opposition to something going into, to a license going into a previously unlicensed space, especially on this small, narrow street. But if this is gonna be withdrawn, because, and I think it probably will be because of all these issues, then I think it's moot.
But it's on the record now that you oppose it because it's a previously unlicensed location.
Correct.
Okay, got you on the record on that.
Thank you.
Okay, back to RemyMidtown LLC, doing business as Cheers Union Square, 35 East 13th Street. This is an on-premise for a tavern.
Good evening. Good evening. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. They only said bring 5 copies. Yeah. You know, they come. One. Share. Thank you. Good. Everybody's good.
What's the item?
C1. Okay.
Good evening, everybody. Rosa Ruiz for the applicant, RemyMidtown LLC. We've been before the board before. We have met with the block associations. We did multiple community outreach. Some people did go up to the establishment, but not many. I think it was about maybe 10. We are reducing rooftop hours where that was the main concern to closing the roof at midnight. There will be no entertainment on the roof, no DJs on the roof. It's literally for seating and eating. And closing the roof also during the week at 10 p.m., which were the main concerns of this application.
Okay. So I'll just, so that was one of the concerns of the application, and I believe what we said was, would you remove the roof from the application?
Mhm.
And so we still don't have the roof removed.
No, because again, that's taking away an entire floor from.
Right, so when we were up at the liquor authority in February, just for the record, because everybody else does not necessarily know this, Community Board 2 recommended denial of this application. It was up at the full board, and the authority also denied the application. And the big reason that the authority denied the application was because that it's operating as a nightclub with lines of people down the street, surrounded by residences that are much higher up the street. Noise causing a disruption, the music causing a disruption, not well insulated, and that this was not the proper location to have a nightclub. That's what they set up at the liquor authority. I could read out exactly what each one did when they made their vote, if anybody would like me to do that. So I'm not sure what's different in this application that makes this not a nightclub.
Okay, so one, the liquor authority had also said that we should come back and meet again with the community board.
One person on the liquor authority thought that might be an idea, about the rooftop.
Yes.
So, but what about the nightclub part? What about the crowds of people out on the street? Because the other thing, hang on one second. Your 500-foot statement says that the applicant proposes to operate a professionally managed multi-level hospitality venue with food service, interior entertainment programming, structured operational controls. That the applicant has been operating for approximately 17 months as a mocktail-based hospitality and entertainment venue while awaiting their license during that period, which isn't exactly accurate because they had quite a few number of one-day permits that were operating with alcohol during that time, and that was all, also Commissioner De Leon cited that. Without reported violations, disorderly conduct findings, or sustained complaints while implementing security procedures, sound controls, crowd management measures, and operational oversight. And then that you have agreed to the interior entertainment is confined to enclosed interior portions of the premises, structured security and crowd management procedure, active sidewalk monitoring and patron dispersal measures during later hours. And then you have a sound engineer. So how has that been working?
So right now, because there is no liquor license, which is why there are the teen events, which we also heard from the community, and we've also scaled back the lines going from around the corner. With the liquor license, it's not gonna be any more teen events, it'll be a 21 and over entertainment venue. More control.
Just say though, for those of us that haven't taken our Friday nights to go walk over to the venue to see how it's been run, why don't you just give us all an overview of what's been going on there?
Meaning exactly what?
Well, yeah, why don't you, I mean, and state your name?
Hi, and my name is Ed Batiz. I am the entertainment director of Cheers Union Square.
And what relationship are you to Lawrence Batiz?
I'm his brother.
Okay,
So I've been in the entertainment business for over 45 years. I've had restaurants before, liquor licenses before.
and were you involved with Bar 13?
As a promoter, promoted events. I have done events there, but I've also done events all over the city. Now, we were forced to pivot to a teen bar, mocktail bar, because we couldn't do any more catering, because with catering comes liquor. And we only had a certain amount of liquor licenses allowed, and they were all private.
Well, wait a second. All those events were still okay, I'm just gonna read you what Commissioner De Leon said. The applicant wants a nightclub in a place that doesn't want a nightclub, and the fact that there have been 20 catering and one-day permits issued since December 14, 2024, after the administrative law judge recommended denial of this application to allow the operation of what essentially looks like a nightclub with lines going down the street.
But the lines going down the street were teen events, non-alcoholic events.
I just want to correct you. The lines going down the street, when we were up at the liquor authority was when.
Non-alcoholic events.
I don't really care what they were disruptive to the entire community, and if you can't manage a teen event, how are you going to manage?
We have managed the teen event.
Oh, wait, whoa. You think you've managed the teen event? All right, wait a second.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm gonna ask you, how was the teen event managed on April 10th?
What was wrong with April 10th?
What was wrong with April 10th? Were you there on April 10th? You were inside doing the music, so you have no idea what was outside.
What happened April 10th?
April 10th, you had kids up and down the block. You had the 6th precinct there outside on the street on University. You had kids up and down the block. You had them falling over the city bikes. You had them all in a piece of place. Your security person that it says here that the sidewalk is going to be well managed. Your security person couldn't control anybody that was out there. He kept telling them to leave and nobody budged. Not only that, there was another event going on the 13th Street. The way this application reads is that it's just one space. And that actually, if I remember correctly, and I could be wrong with this, that 13th Street side was only supposed to be used for egress. On this given night, there was a security person on 13th Street that was allowing a different group of people going into a second party that was going on in that place. There were people on the exact same night at the exact same time. The kids were going, whoever's phone is ringing, could you prove it? Okay. So they were going from the door on 13th Street over to the door on University, going back to the door on 13th Street. They were running down the street. They were blocking the cars because 13th University is not a closed street, by the way. Traffic goes down there. And the cars couldn't get by because the kids were all over the place.
Like I said,
And
teen
you
event-
were saying that you
teen
were
events.
choosing to run a teen event, you were advertising these events as, you know, in fact, actually, you've got one advertised for Saturday, I believe. Tickets $20, all you can drink, dress code, trendy and sexy.
That's what we're forced to do.
Well, no, you're not.
Teen
forced-
event.
forced, actually, you're not.
We can't have a liquor license. We haven't been approved of
So
liquor
you're
license.
telling us that we should give you a liquor license when you can't even control the people that are outside now, and you had lines going down the street when you had your one-day permits before.
No, I did not have lines with permits before. No.
You had lines, I had
The
pictures
line,
when
the
we were
line,
up at the.
those were teen
You
events.
were, I don't care what they were, you were managing the space and it's a disorderly premises. And if it's a disorderly premises without alcohol, how do you think it's going to be with alcohol? I could hear the music from that establishment, I could hear the music from your establishment a half a block away. And I also
That
want to
is not
say that
true.
that is absolutely true because I was there myself. Do not tell me I'm lying. I was standing right across the street. I know where the music was coming from. It was coming from.
There's another rooftop that has a DJ.
It was not, it was
There
not
is
from.
another rooftop.
I'm sorry, but it was not from another rooftop, and I don't understand people going in, it's one venue, it should be one event, and you had two different events going on, the police were there, I was told by the police that they're there every time you're doing this, and then what was happening on April 24th? 2 weeks later, you wanna know what happened on that night? That night, there wasn't craziness on the street, it was just kind of normal sidewalk congestion, they weren't in the street this time, and they were still going back from 13th Street to University and 13th Street to University. Once again, you were holding two separate events. Girls are passed out on the street and the ambulance had to come. So I'm just wanna understand how you think that you're gonna manage this and why we're even sitting here tonight after we heard this application twice before. We denied the application, the administrative law judge denied the application. We went up to the liquor authority, it was denied up at the liquor authority, and the only thing you were coming here with is a reduction of hours on the rooftop and no music, and you think that is solving the problems? And
Okay, well, I understand your concern, ma'am, but you're saying that you see people, I mean, that you heard that girls are passed out outside, that's not coming from our.
I didn't hear that.
That's.
They don't serve liquor.
Like, let me just
So how are they passed
Let
out?
me just tell you, because they're all pre-partying in order.
But that's not our fault, we don't control those teenagers that come in.
Advertising them, the way.
I'm advertising.
Look,
It's a mocktail bar. There's no alcohol.
the way you are advertising these places is encouraging all of this behavior. It's really encouraging all of this.
No control, 21 and over with a liquor license and without. I have had
Here's no day
4
party.
liquor licenses under my belt,
Dancing.
never had
You're
one
talking over me.
problem.
You're talking over me.
Sorry, ma'am.
Right. $40 all included, 300 tickets only, open to the pub, open to all music, food, culture, full brunch buffet, dessert, special mocktail bar, frozen pina colada, sangria, 2 levels of music and salsa. Everybody on the rooftop dancing. I mean, no booze, just vibe, house music all night. And I was there between 10:30 and 11:30. I wasn't even there till the 3 o'clock, but it stays open till I can only imagine. I can just only imagine what happens after I left. The lines were going all over the place. So you've shown no ability to control the lines. You've shown no ability to control, your security there couldn't control the teenagers. I mean, zero ability to control the teenagers. And you're running from 2 different places where the one place is supposed to be your egress. Huh? I mean, I have personally spent so much time on this and walking over there to see, Rosa, you should go over there one night and see, instead of, asking us to provide all this, just go over there and see what it's like out there on the street. And you have residents all over that are trying to live there. And what they said was the noise too. The noise, the kids were screaming, I'll just tell you, the kids are screaming out in the streets. you have neighbors walking up and down the street saying, what the heck is going on over
But-
here?
but
You
you're
have the
right.
people, well, you can't control your people, you're throwing these events and you have no ability to control them. Your security said it's full, leave, and your security could not get them to leave. That shows you have an inability to control your crowds. It's disorderly.
Ma'am, I have recordings. I can show you the recordings. I'll bring them to the board. You're gonna see, there's no noise outside.
Oh,
There is no issue outside. There is no sound, no music off the building.
I'm just gonna say, you might have recordings, I have recordings too, and now she has all the recordings
Because the
too.
record, the noise she's saying is the teenagers, it's not the music, and that I
No,
understand.
I heard the music, but unfortunately, the little iPhones, as we all know, the iPhones don't pick up the music when there's a bunch of people on the street and cars on the street. You
Ma'am,
don't get the.
you will hear the music if the door is open when kids are coming in, of course, if the door is open.
So the only difference here is just, the only difference here, I'm just gonna say, we denied this application before, and now I've had the opportunity to see what goes on there. We denied it before, and the only difference is the reduction of hours on the rooftop and the lack of music on the rooftop. That's the only difference here between this and what we heard before. And we denied it for a multitude of reasons before. You don't have. I mean, are there any other changes? Are there any other changes?
Okay.
Do you have the certificate of occupancy?
The certificate of occupancies.
I don't see that, and.
The
that is-
CB2 is being
that's-
worked on.
You're
They already
talking
have
over
approved
me
plans.
again, and you're really not in a position to be talking over me. I realize I interrupt people all the time, but you're not in a position to do this. That's from February, where you said the architect was working on the temporary, we have nothing, there's
And
no
the Department
certificate
of
of
Buildings
occupancy.
was just there last month.
Do I have anything?
Doing their walkthrough,
Right,
okay?
I don't have anything on that. Do I?
No. All right, so the temporary certificate of occupancy is being worked on. There was an old job that had to be closed out. That took a little time to close it out because we had to get in touch with the old architect in order to close it out. But the certificate of occupancy issue is being addressed, and it's an updated one is being issued. As far as anybody being passed out outside, that's not our establishment, okay? You can't accuse us of, over serving.
I did not say that. I said you're drawing a crowd of people and you're advertising in such a way that this is the type of behavior you get. I did not once say you were over serving. I never said you were over
Because we're
serving,
not
not
serving-
put words in my mouth.
Because we are not serving any alcohol whatsoever. So anybody who's drinking or wherever else they're, whatever else establishments they're going to, you can't not hold that.
They
against
weren't
me.
they were coming out of bars and hanging out on the street. And yes, you're right. Kids do whatever they do, but this is the type of, how you're advertising, how you're promoting it, how you're marketing it, how you're branding it, this is what you're getting because of what you're doing. Paul, go ahead. Paul, go ahead.
And again, with the liquor license, the method of operation will be different and it'll be more of a structured type of environment.
the liquor authority-
Let me finish, please. Thank you. And Chino can explain to you the proposed method of operation with the liquor license and how it's gonna be structured from that standpoint.
Well, I'm just going to say that what the liquor authority said was that this is the wrong location for a nightclub. And you're running a nightclub. That's what they said. So I don't know why you're
And
not.
again, this is not.
This is what they said.
It's going to be a hospitality venue.
What other differences are there? Are there any other differences in this application?
Donna, I'm not being rude.
From the rooftop, what are the other differences?
The other differences are there will not be any dancing on the rooftop. There will be no music on the rooftop. There will be no entertainment whatsoever at all on the rooftop. We're closing it Sunday, during the week at 10 p.m. and then on the weekends proposing to close it at midnight. No TVs will be played up there. There'll be no amplified sound. There'll be no entertainment whatsoever. It's literally to sit down, eat, have a conversation and enjoy some air.
From 11 o'clock at night till 3 in the morning.
What are you talking? I said that's for the roof.
So 11.
Okay, I said close the roofs on the weekends at midnight, during the week at 10 p.m. The hours of operation on the inside, because we did meet with the Block Association and everything else. Because I even have an email saying, please just close during the week at 2 a.m. and no issue for the weekends, for the 4 a.m. I have all of that email documentation. Okay, and we agreed to all of that. Stipulations have been presented to us, which we've been more than willing to sign, okay? So it's a matter of just coming to like some type of an agreement. But stipulations have been presented, email correspondence has gone back and forth, we have made all of these concessions.
Guys, like, you heard tonight, everybody talking about like being part of the community, and this does not seem like.
Well, this is not everybody from the community, because there are some people in support, and we also do have over 200 signatures in support. And we also
Do we
did the
have
sound.
anyone here tonight?
And there was also personal letters submitted, okay? That I've also attached a copy of, and then the sound testing was done directly from a neighbor's across the street, across the street.
I mean, I pass that street all the time on my way home. It's pretty crazy out there. Like, whether they're coming from your establishment, like Donna said, the advertising is attracting, whether they're getting in or not, the kids are outside, like on the street screaming. Like, you heard tonight, everybody here is talking about the neighborhood and like being part of the community. Like, I don't want my teenage kid trying to get into this nightclub. I don't know, do you serve alcohol? Do you not? You're not supposed to.
So the method of operation on the application was a tavern, live entertainment venue that's been there for 40 years, close to 40 years as a restaurant nightclub. It's been there for 40 years.
Well, if that were the case, guess what? You'd have the paperwork in order, and guess what? You don't. It wasn't supposed to be there.
What was, bar 13 was not supposed to be there?
No, that's why you don't have a certificate of occupancy, and that's why you're having.
The C of O was expired.
Exactly.
So we had to get a new one, which.
Right, but C of Os don't expire. That's because it was temporary, because the work was never completed and the job was never signed on. So final C of O was never issued, and that's generally because there's a problem, because if it was all ready to be signed off, it would have been done.
And again, we took that over and we're rectifying it.
Right,
And we've been actively.
But the point is that it shouldn't have been operating there. So this
Again,
track
I
record.
don't have a relationship with the previous.
No,
owner,
but
okay?
I'm just pointing out that when you no longer have an active permit, you can't operate. And so they did not have an active certificate of occupancy during a significant amount of the time that they operated.
And again.
It's not very complicated,
And
so
again,
they shouldn't have been there,
we
because initially, this wasn't all these floors. This initially started off much smaller, and the proper permits were never obtained to operate this business through time, and it kept expanding and
And
expanding
right
and expanding,
now,
so.
they have retained, a professional architectural.
But you were just using the basis that this other operation was legal as a reasoning for why another license should be issued, and what I'm saying, it never was.
Duly noted, and again, that's why we are obtaining an updated temporary certificate of occupancy that will eventually lead to a permanent C of O.
And then as part of that, the other qualifications for a 500-foot case are noise impacts on the residences, all of traffic, disruptions outside. These are all the issues. And guess what? They all seem to be there. And you were unwilling when you came to us the first time to mitigate anything on the rooftop at all.
No, that is not true.
We just didn't want to close.
We just didn't want to close.
No, but you
But we
wanted
were-
speakers, music, etc.
Background speakers, not DJ speakers.
And
We've
again,
been operating for how long now?
about
Since
20 months.
20 months with no restrictions. No restrictions at all with the rooftop. We don't have any noise issues with sound any longer. No 311 issues. The lines for
Everybody's
kids.
exhausted from calling 311. I mean, I'm surprised anybody is even here. Everybody is even here tonight because you've laid this over so many times that I don't even know if anybody knows when you're showing up for this
The
meeting.
reason we
So
did
I
that,
know there were reasons you were doing it, but these are people that live there that have already come here. I believe it was at least twice last year on this. Some of them went up to the liquor authority on this, and then they've been dealing with this since then. And I'm stunned that anybody is even here tonight, because I thought that nobody would believe that this is actually happening, because it's been canceled and it's been canceled at the last minute for the past 3 months for whatever good reason there may be. not saying it's not a good reason, but to still get the public to show up and take their evening to come here after they went through all of that when this application was heard the first time, and they already went through this months ago to go up to the liquor authority or to write letters for the liquor authority, and here you are again with basically no changes aside from your closing.
And that's not the
closing.
and that's not the conversations that we've been having with the block association.
Okay, so what, you know what
Okay.
I'm gonna do? I think I'm gonna go to the public.
Okay,
That's what I'm
thank
gonna do. So, I guess you could all just come up and, one at a time and just state your name. If you have any particular order that you would all like to speak in, go right ahead and do that. Otherwise, just go.
My name is Cheryl Granfield. I live at 16 East 11th Street. I'm 2 blocks away from this location. I've been there for 40 some odd years, since 1977. And I have been a member of the East 11th Street Block Association during that time, and I am a founding member of the University Place Residents Association. I'm going to speak specifically to an issue that came up during this conversation having to do with stipulations having been presented to and apparently agreed to by the applicant. I was unaware that that had happened until conversations took place after the SLA rejection of the application. And it turns out that the stipulations are something that the University Place Residents Association used back in 2011. And this person took it upon themselves to modify those stipulations and send them to the applicant without, as far as I'm aware, conversation with any other neighbors. I am perfectly aware that the community board writes its own stipulations these days. I'm not sure that that particular neighbor is aware of that. I will simply offer that everything I have seen from the neighbors who are closer to this actual location than I am personally in my apartment. I'm a neighborhood person for this particular location. I am not adjacent to it. There is a strong objection, particularly to the 4 a.m. closings and to the noise on the street from patrons who mill about and apparently patronize other establishments in the neighborhood that do serve alcohol prior to entering this establishment. And I will simply say that on that basis, I find it not possible to support the applicant. I do give them credit for having reached out to the neighborhood and having hosted a neighborhood conversation in the premises a couple of weeks ago. And I think that everyone who attended got a better idea of what the business model and intent is.
My name is David Adler. I live on 12th Street between 5th and University, facing north, and can hear the music so loudly. So Donna, your comments really resonate. My wife isn't here tonight. She's the one that basically, when the music is on, she feels the vibration. She has to go to the opposite end of our apartment and sleep there. And that happens. We can kind of, sometimes it's Sunday, sometimes it's Saturday, always Friday, Saturday. So the fact that noise, this is my time to speak, sir.
Just speak to, whoa, just speak to us. No, you're not.
Look at it, please, look at it.
So the idea that there's no impact on the community of this music, and this idea that it was, it's teen music, the music is just as bad as it was before. And bar 13, there were similar problems. I would say that this is a nightclub. What you guys spoke about, this does not belong in our neighborhood, is spot on. It's bringing people into the community, not from our community, not the nice restaurants that I listened to tonight, beautiful, and they're very, there's issues with noise, sure. But these are people not from our hood, and they're getting drunk. I'm not up at 4 AM. My daughter and my son are. And I don't want them walking around the neighborhood and seeing people that are attracted to whether it's Bar 13 or Cheers Union Square. This just doesn't belong in our community, so.
Hi, my name is Jerry Morgan. I live on 13th Street, basically south side, across from where this is. They're asking for 4 AM Friday, Saturday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We've had 4 AM with Bar 13. We know what it is. It's drunks on the street, it's fights, it's people being called, people being woken up at 4 in the morning, which they don't want. We don't need that. We know that the roof can be quiet, and people are just having dinner. People having dinner and talking late at night resonates in that area. It bounces off the buildings. The 2011 stipulations didn't include a 23-story building across the street, a 16-story building across University north and south of it. And it's just noise. Everybody hears it. And it just infects sleep and it infects the neighborhood. And I can hear it in my apartment is in the back on the south side between 13th and 12th, and I've heard it. We don't need it anymore. We've done it.
I live.
Okay, so wait, you're gonna have to either pull it out or turn the dial and vote.
I'm gonna do this.
And state your name, please.
Rosalind Weinstein. And I live right above Jerry. We live right across the street. And we can hear things, and but I'll just build on what people have said. I don't even care if they're drunk or not. They have shown no crowd control at all. When I come home from work or come home from dinner, you cannot even walk on the sidewalk on University Place or 13th Street until you get close to Broadway. It's completely blocked. I don't even know how that like deli, whatever on the street is functioning when they're having these events and things like that. And that's a big problem. So it's crowd, noise, somewhat dirty. You don't feel, it does not feel safe. And this is before any alcohol. This is, when they're leaving or whatever, after being in there all night, I can't imagine what it's gonna be like. So I am in opposition.
Hi, everybody. My name is Monica Hollander. I live directly across University Place from this establishment. I live on the top floor of 27 East 13th. What people have not really addressed is that this is a very short expanse of University Place. It's very quiet at night. It also acts as a canyon. I'm in the top floor of my building. I can hear people's conversations on the street below. So when they exit this place at 4 AM and these people do not leave, they loiter around, whether they're drunk or not, that's not the point, high-spirited, whatever you want to call it. They don't leave, they yell, they scream, they argue, they laugh. Even when they're up on the rooftop, no matter what time it is, they're laughing, they're screaming happy birthday or whatever. They want a 4 AM closing. I am totally opposed to that because these people do not leave. Sometimes 5 o'clock in the morning, they're still on the street. So I am opposed.
Hi, my name's Diane Specioso. I'm also at 27 East 13th Street. I've been a part of the 12th and 13th Street Block Association, a founder of University Place Residents Association. So we've been down the block. We've seen all the changes on University Place, and this location and the previous owner is a history, and I know you all know the history. So we don't need to review it, but I agree with Chair Raftery that they can't control what they have right now. I went to the open house, and again, the same things that were said tonight were said then, that it would be different, and how could drunk people be worse than non-drunk people is my opinion. I also don't, I know what the 500-foot rule is. I know we have 27 liquor licenses within 500 feet of this location. And this applicant has shown zero benefit to the community. They offered a block party to us, so they don't really know what the community is. The outreach was very perfunctory to me. And a lot of the yelling that you just saw tonight, this defensive yelling, is what we got. So I feel even more strongly now that their intentions are self-centered and need to make money, which they've stated to us, how we need to make money. It's not, and the open house occurred at the tail end of the process instead of the beginning, instead of trying to find out who we are. And who we are not people that would attend. So that's essentially my reason for saying there's no benefit, because we would not go. With all of this, if you still approve an application, I would want midnight and then the rooftop 10 p.m. because that's what I think I understand when there are street applications for restaurants to have seats on the sidewalk. I believe it's at 10 a.m. to benefit the residents.
It's not usually for nightclubs.
Yeah.
It's not for nightclubs, but I had to have some reference point about 10 p.m.
Not AM.
Yeah, yes. And just to the point of our neighbor, his wife can go to another part of their apartment. All the apartments at 27 East 13th Street are studios. So there's nowhere to go. Question?
Well, I just wanted to, also, we've had a long history with rooftops and outdoor dining and things like that, and rooftops have a very different sound impact, a different thing than sidewalk dining, so it's best not to extrapolate the times from sidewalk dining.
Yes, because at one point I even suggested, well, if without liquor, without music on the roof, perhaps there could at least be umbrellas or something. So, I was trying to think, to offer, but I still am in opposition because I don't have a good feeling about the applicant. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else here on this one? Okay.
So do you want to explain the method of operation? How? Yep, no, I'm talking about after you get the put a liquor license, what the method of operation would be. Okay. Again, more structure, more operational control. There will not be, lines going around the corner. We have proposed again to close the roof at 10 p.m. during the week, midnight on the weekends. There will
What are
be
weekends? What are weekends?
Thursday through Saturday. Okay. There will also be comedy shows, DJs. The certificate of occupancy is on its way. The assured us should come shortly. And that's pretty much it.
So I just have a question. So you guys have been operating in the space without a valid certificate of occupancy?
Yes.
Anybody else have anything? I think we're good. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank. Okay, does anybody need, okay, so wait, 51 merchants, we can do that, we waive their appearance and any business. Does anybody want to take a break before we do business?
Gallery.
Oh, wait, let me call.
Call them again.
Cafe Gallery, is there any, you are here, okay, we called you at the beginning. You weren't here, thank you, Erica.
Would you like copies of the?
Yes,
Here,
please.
yeah. Perfect.
Is there anything any different from what you?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Additional hours.
Let me put it down there.
Sorry.
Yeah. You'll have some to them.
Over here?
Yep, yep.
Oh my God.
Okay, go ahead.
Hi there,
Hi.
I'm Doug Schottenstein, I'm the owner. Thanks for having me. It's a art gallery that serves coffee and pastries right now. And I wanted to add beer and wine.
Okay, and the hours are 12 to 8. So this is, it's in the cellar, right?
Yes, it's a split level.
Those are the hours.
Well, that's the hours. Hang on. I'll look at what's in front of me instead of what I printed out. So 12 to 8 Sunday, 5 to 9, Monday through Thursday, 5 to 10 Friday, and 12 to 10 on Saturday.
Yes, ma'am, that sounds correct.
Just sort of what I was starting out. Okay, then floor plan, where, are there tables and chairs someplace?
There are chairs with attached counters, tables, almost like you would see in an elementary school with the desk attached to the chair, but it's not for that, it's for eating and drinking. And then there's one larger table with I believe 8 chairs around it.
Okay, so none of that is on this application,
Which part?
the chairs. I see a cellar diagram. Did the office reach out to you today? I had asked them to reach out to get a diagram of this.
Pictures?
Well,
Okay,
just they've been a diagram that shows tables and chairs.
I'm
The
sorry,
liquor
no.
authority would want to see tables
Okay.
and chairs. They're gonna want to see where your seating is. So you go down the stairs. There's a little kitchenette, I guess, in the back.
Yes,
on the
ma'am.
Right,
back right.
and then there's a bathroom in the far back. Is the kitchen, is there a wall by the kitchenette or?
Yes, the kitchenette is surrounded by the back right corner.
The back
The back right
corner,
corner before you get to what's basically a
Yeah.
workroom.
that, there's nothing separating it.
Oh, like a
from
wall?
From the space,
No, ma'am.
so there's no wall here. And then where are the pastries and everything? And where do people pay?
There's a walk around pay terminal. Credit card only, and there's pastries on the far wall, the same wall as the door to the bathroom.
So back here somewhere. And so what do they, is it, there's no wait staff or anything?
Correct, we have one security who also has his food certificate. And we've had a very low volume of people, so he just handles all of that.
Basically.
Yeah, there's another picture of that, right? This is work in the back and actually done. It looks like architectural.
Yeah, like, was this work done or in downstairs?
Yes, everything's done.
You just don't have any way.
I'm sorry.
I mean, I have, because normally we see seating,
I see.
pictures, something
Got it.
that shows what the space looks like. Access to the bathroom, I mean, it's on here, but how that all works down there, it's gotta be separate from the kitchen area and how you're selling the page, like how will the alcohol, where is the alcohol being stored?
On those 2 counters,
On which 2 counters?
of the kitchenette,
So behind here someplace,
where the pastries are, and
but you said the pastries are down by the bathroom on the other side, I thought.
I'm sorry to have to do it this way, but when you walk in, it's a rectangle, back right is the kitchenette. But it ends in a faux wall
Right,
and a door. If you go through that door, there's a bathroom back here.
There's a hallway.
right,
Bathroom back here. This L, back right corner, next to the faux wall is for, food and drink.
Storage where it says no storage?
Storage,
It says,
behind the faux wall
yeah,
is, a workroom
okay, so the alcohol is stored.
on the counters theoretically. It's just gonna be beer and wine, individual, it's just gonna be cans and bottles
Cans.
of beer and wine, no, bottles and, no, multi-serve bottles. It'll only be single serve wine and.
All single serve. okay.
Yes, ma'am, that's the one I'm trying to say.
So. Someone. The security person, they go to the security person and the security person gets them their, IDs them and gets their. Can of wine,
Yes, ma'am, he's certified it for health department too, for food, and he happens to be certified for security, so with the low volume we've had, it's been more than enough.
and so they pay him,
Yes, they pay him in only credit card. We have one of those white payment terminals you would
is
see.
that legal? I don't, yeah, no question. That's, yeah. Okay. Um. Okay. Go ahead, Dr. Smith.
Did I understand you to say the tables are like, school chairs, desk?
In that there's a, they're not small as those, but they do have the attached desk part to the chair.
That you could fold down?
It doesn't fold down.
Oh,
It- Yes, ma'am. It just, it's all one item.
gotcha.
Yes, ma'am.
And you've already filed this application?
Oh, yes, yes.
Yes.
Yes,
because
ma'am.
it's been processed by the liquor authority, so just so everybody knows that, okay. News, is there a certificate of occupancy for this? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Okay, does anybody have any questions?
Accessible without accessible to
Is it accessible? Is it ADA accessible or is it,
Just
is it accessible? It's right here.
bathroom for patrons.
Is a
Yes.
bathroom for patrons?
Only for patrons, absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, does anybody else have anything? No? No. Okay, all right, I think we're good.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for showing.
Thank you.
Erica for reminding me. Okay, we'll take a quick break.
Should I pause the recording or just turn on the sentence?
If you don't have to pause the recording, just mute it.
Give me 1 second. action, the next you are back on.
Okay, so, so 340, Bleecker. That is the transfer from the St. Theo's. Everything's going to stay the same, except they are removing no DJs and no live music.
No, they're adding the days at 11.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, they're adding that. Otherwise it stays the same. They actually are the first ones that can transfer the outdoor seating because you're allowed to do that. You still have to file out an application, but you're allowed to operate under the other ones outdoor seating if you had approved outdoor seating. Which they did and have had stipulations on. It's a miracle that both places have been, roadway and sidewalk has been approved. So, there's not any of us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, there's 8 of us. Okay, so, I think the biggest thing is going to be the cars pulling up. And the roadbed.
Yeah, just the line, I mean, it's
Well,
just,
I
I mean,
think
it's another
it's
shift.
different.
It's another shift, I mean, look, the other applicants, other places that are advertised, maybe Subway. Like, they have a reservation here. The issue is that the destination's overwhelming, but I don't know what the gears are there, but it's overwhelming. And by having a walk-in place, I don't know if that makes it better or worse. It's unclear to me because we have lines everywhere else and if it's like, right?
Right.
And not little lines.
No.
For the business, the know the line is better because the tables flip quicker.
Right, right.
Less tables sit there too.
Right.
Sorry, that's just, I don't know what we do, but that's,
Well,
I think Bob brought up, it's kind of a complicated little intersection.
Yeah, it's a bike lane and
Street. Cars,
so they're all parking the bike.
I mean, we can put a stip in for the line on the sidewalk, at least that just says if you have a line, you're not having outdoor seating.
well,
What?
you know, I'm not disagreeing with that, but I've yet to see anybody translate the line into no line by using some other, because people just wait. They don't go it.
They just hang outside.
Yeah.
Costello, after we spoke with them to see what they did, and they added the Rooftop, it's changed. And I went on a fairly beautiful day and there were not any people there, so I think they did hear us, and then they also had litigation. And then
Did you see the ropes on Grove Street yet?
not on Grove.
No, it's a miracle that can't have ropes on Grove Street. I'm just putting that out there because there are still. No, it's that the Corona that we just waived their appearance, but there's still no ropes on Grove Street.
It was on the right.
But otherwise, I generally don't have a problem. This is an ongoing thing that successive established large restaurant group that is able to attract significant number of people are coming into an area that's predominantly residential with light commercial. And it's creating more and more issues with each successive place.
Yeah.
So I don't know how we address it. I'm just pointing it out because, you know, you suddenly have somebody else who comes in and hits it off, and then somebody else, and then suddenly you know, people just standing around.
He was right about the all day thing, it helps people.
Yeah, right, yeah, because they started earlier.
The all day. like,
Yeah.
'cause
Yeah,
When you're
yeah,
opener,
yeah.
not everybody's coming, only the second, like, more.
Yeah, it's like Don Angie, they're all there at 4:30.
Yeah, that's like a hard stop, but
Yeah.
then they know if you wait at 3:30, you get in.
Mhm.
So the all day helps.
And they're also, I think the other part of that though is the reason it's all day is the benefit of all the significant amount of seating. So that's just good business sense, right, to make that. But if it's, but I think that you brought up the right point. If you have roadbed, sidewalk, inside, there's not much room left. That's Erica's point. And then what do? You're standing next door or somewhere else. So I don't know, that's just,
Well,
I think we should write it into
I'm
something that's very endeavored not to do that.
Yeah, but with those, half the time, it's like 75 minutes, I don't understand.
Really?
So what am I putting in? We're denying less on this?
Yeah.
I'm presuming, but is there anything particular stip you want me to put in? Should I put in the stip about if
Not
they're
having one.
not having lines?
Well, let's just say they have to maintain.
Clear path has to be maintained.
Yeah, so they're gonna use this sidewalk
Right.
scene or the,
Clear path must be maintained at all times.
And they said that they would have some sort of line management
Yeah,
software.
Someone used it to some
okay.
13 feet, and then I know there's a tree boundary.
Yeah.
There's.
Theo says, and then, you know, and there's no stanchions there now. That's, I mean, and, it actually doesn't bother me so much, but I know it bothers some people, because they only get 2 seats. But, okay, so we're denying less on that one.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
so then the next one is the Lorient, so we're moving from one problem to the next problem, not.
This is the Starbucks.
Right, but this is not, you know, again, neither one of them, I don't think are the applications, they both have the same issues, sort of
Yeah.
in the back of them.
Well, this one's a little bit different.
This is
because
worse.
If you're going anywhere, you wanna go west, and you're on Sixth Avenue.
Right.
So many people
Yeah.
turn onto Waverly, and what happens when you turn onto Waverly? And it, you
Go,
can
yeah.
jump around and go across Christopher, but that's closed for the open street.
Right, so where do you end up, where do you get in?
You end up going past this place if you wanna go west,
Right.
actually throws you back around and then south
Right.
on Seventh Avenue. And if you impede any traffic, it's a nightmare to begin with, if it's backed up traffic, but it moves a little bit, you know, whatever. But if you just stop doing one thing, yeah.
You're gonna get a lot of horns.
Yeah.
They get snarled up there, just when like big trucks try to cross
Yeah,
that.
I mean, if it were blocked off at Waverly, you wouldn't have any problems, but you just, so that's just the issue is. And then you were pointing out they changed everything, or some time ago, but they changed on Seventh Avenue South, and when you come off in front of this place and you're turning left, you have the bike lane, but then
You have that
hit the
concrete
turn lane again.
Right.
There's
right,
nowhere to
right.
pull over, so there's nowhere.
There's nowhere to pull over, you can't
And-
turn over at that little truck.
And if a car goes by, because there's traffic behind them, they have to go.
Over down.
and Very,
It's not easy. Even if you go back
yeah, I
on,
don't think you can actually.
even,
can
yeah, you can, but it's not easy. You gotta go all the way. What, the next street is what, it's not Grove, it's what's called,
This is Grove.
is it Grove?
This is, they're on
No, no,
Grove,
it's
so it's the
the,
next
it's the
one.
one where, one of Portland, two by C.
I was just looking at the map. Yes, that,
Yeah, right.
Road, you go south.
Barrow?
Barrow, that's the one.
So you come back up on Barrow.
But then you gotta go right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, so there's no way.
You gotta go all, it's not good if you're the driver.
Go around.
Nowhere to go.
Go around.
But
So-
Barrow's,
That-
you
that's
can hang
just-
out on Barrow.
So the reason I bring that up is because
Yes.
it's a very, very nice restaurant. Most people, this is a special occasion, taking the car there, you picked up whatever, so.
What's the?
And that's my only issue, I don't, it's
66
not a
seats,
solution,
so
it's
that's
just
30
another.
cars.
I just don't know what to say about it.
24 cars.
Of the stipulation.
But no, that's the point, is that by putting a higher end type of space and destination here, it creates a problem because there's not an obvious solution, so. But this is one of the elements, which is the impact of the existing traffic.
But they
It's
consider.
Right. Public
interesting,
interest.
because this isn't normally what you would think,
I don't.
but it just stops some of them. So I just,
I just don't understand, like, what's our recourse?
Deny
well,
it.
it's not so
You
much
do
the
not
recourse,
deny
it's
it,
that.
Deny.
Yeah.
That's one, but the other recourse though is that they have to really be aware of that. I mean, if any of us goes anywhere and you wanna get picked up, it shows where you are, not some geo-located pin because of the business. It comes to you. If you're going someplace it can, but not if they're picked up. And if we're inside just chatting, like some people earlier. The beginning of this, you see a little delay.
What do you think it's?
You see a little delay and that's all it is, and you got 3 cars behind them, and so I don't know how you solve it, but this is a high-end clientele, what do you know?
That's what I meant, like, do you think it's such an impact to traffic, which is a really weird part of town? You deny based on.
No, it's not so much that, it's like. They have to have internal policies that may not be comfortable. To to have in communicating to their clientele
Oh, I
that they may
stipulate
not be used to that. And that's explaining to them beforehand, hey, when you call a car, you need to be ready to go. You know, there's that type of thing. And that's not something any of us probably here normally communicated if you go
Is it,
place.
So,
anybody know what traffic regs are on that block? That one little short block?
Yeah, no parking.
It's no parking.
No
but it's-
parking right in
well,
front.
there's a fire
There's a
hydrant.
fire
in
hydrant,
front of
yeah.
them.
There should be no standing.
It is.
Oh, I think it is.
There's no standing.
And there's
Which means
plastic.
in theory, like, black cars won't be able to pick or drop anybody there.
They
That's
stand in
right,
front of the
right.
fire hydrant.
Yeah.
Because that's the place actually, and what they need to do is make sure that they tell them to leave, because you can sit in front of the fire hydrant in your car for as long as you want to and not get a ticket. As long as you're in your car.
But the number one train is right there.
It's only one minute.
No,
That's right.
right, it's not like that. Okay, so then they can, okay.
But
I just ride my bike through there a lot and I know that that's
Right
a
there.
nightmare.
Oh, I know.
Go through.
I do too.
So
I
what,
just do
so we
all
want
the time.
to nightmare, what are we doing?
I don't know, they have to have a policy, maybe that they have to create a policy. They.
No, it's not.
Yes, about
Especially because.
pickups and their sales, if they're.
The answer is, it's probably not enough.
About pickups,
No.
to ensure that it.
It's one of the.
They- Something to that effect,
But if there's multiple prongs and
and
that's
they're
one
ready
of
to
them.
go or something, all right.
But
Okay,
other
we
than
deny
that,
less on this,
there's no reason.
okay.
Right.
Everybody, did I
Yes.
get to deny less?
Yes.
Getting down there, okay. The next one is Lumen.
Why are,
I mean,
No,
why
why are
we're
we carrying this?
looking, right,
So-
to hear this until it's solved, so to me, this is just to deny, they're welcome to come back if they
Yeah, it's very
have solved
straightforward.
the problem.
I mean, I'd be no, even if it weren't all of these regulations in their lease and then in the co-op and whatever, you know.
I feel like we're some pathway to the not being resolved. Or the
Right,
Not the other way around.
right,
Yeah.
need to fix, I mean, I sympathize with his situation, but,
Is it bad lease
But-
design?
well, I mean.
I also wanna say this one other thing, right, which is like, and I'm nothing against this guy, this operator, or this whatever, right? But one of the points he made was he said, well, you know, it'll be a problem forever, the next person with this, oh, if this doesn't get fixed, it's like. It may be, but that doesn't make it our problem.
Right.
Like, I'm not anti-restaurant, anti-whatever, but it's not our job. To facilitate or find a way to make it work for everybody. We all know lots of restaurant concepts that are fine at closing at 10. Right? And so, if that's what that space needs. To the point of the liquor authority about 13th Street and the nightclub, there's not a good place for nightclub. If this is not a good place for places, it's gonna be open late because of ethics, it's. Back have to close it.
We already know
Yeah.
how this turns out with
Yeah.
Wild. This guy came to us for 10 years.
Yeah,
Every like 2 seconds telling us stupid fan above his apartment.
I was
Couldn't
hoping
be
that.
fixed and it never got fixed, so we kept promising it. So in this case, we just wanted to fix it first, then
Right,
just like they did at the. There.
right, and they
Except it
finally.
took 10 years.
Right, but then when they fixed it, if Augustine was here, I don't know that it would apply to this situation, but he said it was, they finally he found someone. And it didn't cost a lot of money and it was probably a different situation and it fixed it.
Well, but you're assuming that the fix makes there be no noise or something like that. Cause there is a letter in opposition from the person who lives directly under the fan.
Yeah.
Who saying how it runs after 10 and they can hear every.
But, well, because it doesn't, okay, so we're deny on this, right, everybody?
Yes.
Okay. So then, the next, see, this is what I mean. Mi Garba, 310 Bleecker, rear yard.
Yeah.
I think this is a very strange situation. I don't know, they can either use the backyard or they can't. Why they're limiting it to 8 seats, I don't know.
I think they're.
So,
Well, what about,
Yeah.
because of that certificate of occupancy and everything that was written, and that's whatever it was, Reso, it said that, it's what the architect said, according to what I read.
What has ever been.
That whatever it was keeping it under the certificate of occupancy.
I understand that that's the case, but we have. In our experience, seen the C of O's change, and we've also seen violations issued that say they can't use the rear yard.
Right.
Because it's not listed on the
Right.
C of O. He can get a letter of no objection that can clarify it.
Right.
It
For
may take a
$140
few months,
I mean,
but it's a 2-page double-sided application. You put your C of O on there and your job file into your building and you send it into them and you say what you want. But we also get back regularly if the letter of no objections that say that they can't use the rear yard.
Right.
And that they can only use the interior.
Right.
Which is why I don't. That architect's letter says the zoning allows it, but it doesn't mean.
For that particular
And
building.
that's stepping stone
Doesn't
from it.
mean-
He's trying to keep it under 74 seats with these A's, and then we can prove, and then he goes. That.
Yeah, I mean,
Whatever.
what I found sus about the whole thing, right, where, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
No,
You're finished.
Yeah.
Well, what I found sus about the whole thing was, you know, the art, why the lawyer was so resistant. I mean, as you say, Carter, they've had 5 years. But the other thing too is, it's like, he's like, oh, you don't do it. Oh, no, it's like, that guy's been coming here long enough. He knows we always ask for that. From people.
Like,
He knows
They've been
how
specializing,
many times
they have been
we've sent things
specializing
back.
lately, most of the, if you pay, and, you know, if you notice, many of the rear yards we've been getting lately, is coming from them.
So
Yeah. So just so we're clear, guys, we've seen many of these applications over the years, okay? And when there's 2 means of egress into that rear yard, it's allowed.
Yes.
And when there isn't, and this is a middle building, it's not allowed, okay? So,
Well, it's not allowed based on the occupancies, but.
well, it's more than occupancy, it's also egress.
No, that's
Right, but if
you're not wrong, but where
Yeah.
we did see this and where it was allowed is. at
By
the
Sony.
Avion that they got. The, not the Par Avion,
No, but the ISOTI,
in the West Village. With
Clearly
the
did.
guy who owns.
anyway,
the guy-
ISOTI did because there's a rear yard, there's an exit, and they put in a door to make it legal.
Yeah.
That's why there's a door there, that wasn't there before, so that's legal.
He could have put a different perspective.
Beauvais is not legal,
No,
it's not legal,
because it's under.
never was legal, never. Never. I know them all, I'm telling you, that's not legal.
Are you sure? I think it's if you're under.
I do, it's.
I know,
We got.
I believe me, I've seen them all.
Right, but they.
But think about it, if a bar has under 74 people.
Yeah, that's so.
Inside.
Just
So
just a reminder,
This airmail came back to us. and
On Hudson
Put all
Street.
this place,
Right.
all this stuff in order.
Right, that's right.
and they came back like 2 or 3, I mean, it wasn't, maybe it was 6 months late, it wasn't that long, but as we said, we were denying the use of the rear yard until they came back, and they came back with a letter of no objection for the rear yard.
That's right. And well, but they're not like the only one.
If we approve it, then they just get a fine, is that what happens?
If somebody calls DOB.
Yeah.
Well, the remedy is discontinue illegal.
That's what happened at bar 13, okay?
Right.
All right, I'm just saying, oh yeah, it's only 7 in the backyard. What about the next application?
No, this
Liquor
is
license
close to-
dislocation,
this is
okay?
the-
It's just gonna,
Just to back
it's
up,
gonna
the
snowball.
reason that we have always passed is because there's such a long history of just people evolving uses slowly. But the impact of rear yard eating in backyards is so significant that you have to maintain that of where the permits are in place, because otherwise the change is so dramatic.
It'll be everywhere.
And that's why, can you be there or not? And that's the issue, is because its impact is significant. Here, they've shown there's not an impact, but they haven't demonstrated, can you be there?
Yeah.
And that's the first question.
What's the difference between their rear yard and Bruvettes? Because Bruvettes, you have to
Buvette-
come back out.
That has a
Buvette has
permit
a-
for their.
has a permit.
well,
And they also.
I've
have
never
to
seen a
sign-
permit to Bavette.
It's a.
Have you seen a
But they-
permit?
No,
I think
they have,
they give it to us.
I think they did, but
There's
they also though have that second egress, because you were the one who's.
No, the
used-
one, no, it's not Buvette, it's ISOTI, okay, they have. it.
Oh, you're right,
Buvette does
you're
not,
right, you're
and they
right.
never did.
Because you've
Okay.
got to walk through the whole space in Buvette to get back out.
That's right, believe me, it is not.
Somebody has to get inside.
Yeah, and they put in a gate, they
Right,
put in that exterior
right,
gate,
right.
so they can get it,
Right,
boom.
right.
But that's because they're over 74.
No,
But you're-
No,
no,
it's
has
because
nothing
it's
to do
2
with
means of
that.
egress.
yeah.
It's, and out of that backyard, you gotta have 2 means of egress in case there's a fire,
And
and that's
see,
what it is,
by you,
it's more than 74.
Uh,
So-
Brunetti,
So you both-
that they were using the rear yard and they were told to discontinue that use because someone.
And then they put in the
called
door.
DOB on them for that.
And then they put in the door, cause they paid the money to do it right.
Yeah.
Those two women have money,
So,
they did it right.
so
They
we're
own that
denying
too.
this.
Of course, they own the whole, they own Rose Street, they own the whole street.
Denying it until they get the permits in. Yes. I mean, I personally feel bad because I do think the one thing, and I'm not saying we should change our vote at all, but he is a neighborhood restaurant, you can tell by the letters that we got. I'm just, it's a one neighborhood restaurant that, that actually, and it's
like,
but-
like everybody.
but get the permit. Okay, so we're deny on this, everybody? I need an answer.
Yes.
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 Okay.
If he gets the permits, he can come back, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just the time, because it's
Yeah.
summer now.
I know, but then we put
However,
not at all.
let me also say this. If, that's an interesting point, because here's the point. If in fact, his situation, financial is so shaky that he can't wait a few months to get him things, then I'm really even more leery about authorizing this, because who knows what happens.
I don't think his is shade. The lumen boards are shade.
Okay, so 20 Fonte is the one that, they're gonna talk and see if they're gonna withdraw it or not. They seem to understand that, but we should vote on it anyway. That's the one that, half storefront, half apartment, not really a legal storefront.
What was interesting about that, you found, I haven't seen it, so I didn't go look, they actually got a violation written against them.
Recently, they had the other one up in before. but
Okay, yeah.
they were not.
So, yeah,
Somebody's
so-
still on top
So
of this.
there's-
DOB violation?
Yeah, it's from the
Yeah,
same.
so there's a missing apartment. I mean, that's kind of. So where is the apartment? It's gone.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
it's a kitchen now for the restaurant or whatever.
to the
No, it's a
point,
dining area.
would you confirm with the woman, I think, when she asked, the attorney was representing. Then, is like. Speaking for myself, and I think maybe lots of people here for this, I don't have any problem with what they are necessarily proposing, but. There's a problem with the space and they gotta get that fixed.
Right, it's the same thing as,
Right,
are you
and-
allowed to be there?
And as a side note, I will say. I'm certainly not gonna take the position that we go ahead and are okay with this until they get it fixed, because. My ass will get roasted at full board. For like being okay with having an apartment disappear during an affordability.
So,
She said she wasn't sure if she was gonna withdraw it.
right, so I think we need to vote, so are we denied
Denied.
until they get the proper?
And just, this is an interesting case because this was a small store with an apartment behind it. I mean, we've seen this in the last number of months, a few of these old places that have had this, and it's such a pressure point on having eating and drinking uses take over every little
Everything.
space.
Yeah.
And- And it's kind of interesting when you look at the old plans, because these were all
Yeah.
the small shops with an apartment.
And to your point about all the rear yards, if you let the rear yards slip, especially with all the eating and drinking places that are going into every single ground floor thing, now, it's just more.
I will say that on 8th Street, actually. The apartments that vanished were on the second floor, because they have the second floor commercial.
Yeah,
And we've had a lot, like my building, officially it's supposed to have 6 apartments, or only 5, because the other apartment has become part of the second floor commercial space.
And who was the guy with the jacket? What was the jacket company guy about that?
Remember his only guy?
Yeah. That had a missing apartment also.
Yeah, that's right, in the back of that first floor, yeah. So, by the way,
okay, let's
As
move
a
on,
side-
we're doing.
We're almost there, guys.
Doing okay, so.
Come on.
let's not-
Come on,
Let's not
keep
get-
going.
Carter, just put the freeze.
I wanna talk to Brian.
Okay,
Against Don.
yeah,
Against who?
But
so
I-
Remy, I mean, this is, it's ridiculous that we're hearing.
Well, no, I think
Don't.
just what's changed. So to approach this how,
Right, right.
you look at it and what's changed is the stairs. But
Slightly.
they
Not enough.
refused to do anything when we were in a position of discussing it before they'd really operated. But now they've operated
And we've seen.
and the impacts are there. But not only that, they've operated not in a compliant manner, like the building permits
Right.
or anything, and their impacts on the street are significant, that if they were running a successful club, they'd have the same issues if they're targeting a younger demographic, and it doesn't. And
It's not.
the neighborhood has evolved, but that place that was there shouldn't have been licensed the way it was, because it never had the permits. So the argument of, oh, it's always been is not true. And if you go back and look at the history of the space, it was initially just the ground floor, and it was a ground floor and the second floor. But they never got any of the right permits as they expanded up.
And that's why I was gonna say, it hasn't always been, I used to walk past sort of high school back when dinosaurs ruled the earth. It has not always been this sort of, but ever since it started going up and there's multi-floor level, whatever, it has been a problem ever since then. There was never a time when it wasn't a problem.
Was it a
since
ground
they
floor?
started doing that.
Was it a ground floor restaurant at any point? Was the deli, was it always separate?
There
was something on the ground floor, and it was quiet, whatever
Right.
it was.
Yeah, there was a well-known place that was there.
But it was like a quiet, long-established kind of a thing, you know, it's like.
But I think that the history of all the concerns, that we had of not having
The permits.
experience in running a big place. And you have to bring in somebody else to run it, and it's exactly what's happened here. And they're running it, where ownership is different from the person running it, even though they're related. And you have a denial of what you have very clear, evidence of. But they're not even saying, hey, we want to engage with it, or we tried to resolve it, instead.
They didn't
just
even try to
denying it.
resolve it.
And most large places, it might be a little, have some sharp elbows, a little rough around the edges, but you try to run it well, and you're very open about what your business is. Here,
No respect there.
It was bad, and
And I
if anybody
think
has
that's a
nothing to
bad
do
start.
tomorrow night, walk over, because they're doing another thing tomorrow night.
I passed by it many times, it's terrible.
No,
I think it's
but
just a bad
lately-
start. for
It's a
clubs,
bad
because
area,
You don't
like it's
need a
like-
better engagement.
Well, part of what happened is like that stretch of 13th Street has just become kind of a back alley.
Yeah.
Since, the stores went on the front, since the lumberyard shut down. It used to be lumberyard now, on stretch of 13th.
So,
But I
is there
think-
anything else?
But I think that the issue that why all this is important is because if they continue to pursue it, which I think
Which
that
they
they
will.
will. That the conversation you're having is really, our initial concern is not having the experience to run this type of establishment.
Well, that.
And that's really the core issue. Because if they can't run it, then I'm sure that
And let me
they're,
tell you, they're not gonna be pleased with it either, because there's nothing that, they were I put the whole transcript in the drive, I didn't correct it, I just transcribed it today, and then I did a little synopsis of just the voting. And they both, the two of the three commissioners were, it's a nightclub, it looks great, looks like a lot of fun, doesn't belong here, surrounded by all these residences with lines going down the block. And then even the commissioner that always is pro every business said that they did not do a good job negotiating, because he kept asking them, when will you close the rooftop, and they said, well, maybe we could do 10, maybe we need 12 on the weekends and everything. He's like, this is not how I would go to this is not, and that's what they were doing up at the full board, so.
but I think that's not the part to
Well,
talk about as
no.
much, is that they can't run it.
They can't run it,
And at
no.
the end of the day, there are good operators out there, and this does a disservice in our community where we have so many mixed areas and places that could be this, if you can't run well. And that's not good for, any of this, and.
You get to see all those kids,
Yeah.
all those kids are getting high somewhere else, going in there dancing, it's just, the whole thing is a nut, it's crazy.
Okay,
Well, it's also not accessible, it's a large. This.
Well,
you know,
it's everything
from
I said before, what else?
So from a city, so when I asked them also, do you have the permits, and they said no.
Right.
A big part of that, the building laws change, not on the ground. Right, it's like, it's much more serious, like you have stairways, where your egresses, whatever, they're running a very large venue. I don't know, there are permits in place, and that's like really concerning, because it's not on the ground floor. You know, it's totally different.
Like the stairwell, sprinkler, and
Yeah,
FDNY
you know, you
approved.
got, and they may have half permits for stuff.
Yeah.
But the thing's not all done, and it should have been done years ago. And, well, and they're also running it
I think
multiple
there's certain-
different events on different
Different events, I
floors.
mean, they were saying.
So
that
it's a
not-
weird
They're running different
connectivity.
events, like the one egress, they told us that egress was gonna be on 13th Street.
So there's
Just
a lot
lost
of
out
other
and
small
everybody's coming
issues
down.
that roll up into a bigger issue here, and I think
I
the
guarantee
reason
there's
it's important to discuss about all those
So-
is to create a project picture, because it's not just about you.
Yeah.
No,
It's about, and so it has to be very straightforward to them. The issues are the same. They're magnified because we've had a chance to see them play out. As it's up.
Okay.
Just three?
Yes.
I'm surprised you're able to get find those.
Okay, and then the last
Wait,
one,
wait. Oh,
so
yeah.
we're all okay with the denial?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's good glad you're gonna end up back up there. Like,
well, I'm gonna get my friends over to go on Saturday. All right, and,
if I get a drink in there, sir.
no, we go to another place now. We found a cute little place that was quiet and calmed our nerves. Okay, so the gallery is, is that? No, cause
Mi
we.
Garba.
Huh?
Did we do
No,
Garba?
Sydney Garba.
We did that. Okay.
In Starbucks.
And we did,
Oh.
we did 40.
We were
right?
done.
Yeah.
We're down to the
The
gallery.
gallery. Yeah.
So
Gallery.
the gallery, I wanna see a floor plan with
Me too.
the seats, we need to see a floor plan with the seats.
And if there is a diagram,
Huh?
and if there is a diagram,
Well, he needs to make a he's
No,
gonna
if you
need a
provide-
diagram to send to the SLA, I guess, he already applied, he's on LAMP, there's an orange thing. Been put in. Otherwise, do we have any issues with it?
No.
I don't love it. Like, did you guys look at pictures? It looks like a hotel. No one works there. It's like a self-service.
Yeah, I have issues with that too, but I'm not sure what my issues are, and it's a Tavern wine, and I think he owns the building. Yeah, I think he lives in the building, because each floor is like a fifth of a thing, so is it gonna cause a problem? I don't really think so, but it seems odd.
But that is such a good insight. That's exactly what it looks like. It looks like the, Holiday Express food bar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's turned this previously on license.
yeah.
I know, but it's beer and wine.
You wanna go up there, Erica?
Good.
Just asking. I'm happy to take a pass and let you go.
You're barely moving.
Deny unless, are we okay with that? Provided we get a floor plan that
Yes.
conditioned on a floor plan.
Yes.
Okay, and then just, so I have the vote for 51 Merchants via Corota for the.
Road bed, they really need a road bed.
Honestly, the only reason I didn't make them come is because I waived this last year, because you know what, it conformed and everything else, and so I waived it, they signed the steps and everything else, and then I'm not sure exactly, maybe they didn't apply, or there's something held them up with FDNY, but it's the exact same thing, so I don't feel like it's appropriate to not relitigate it, but I had to do a coin flip on it, because they still don't have the stanchions on Grove. And they can't just approve them for a catering thing on that block. So I think if there was any road bed, that there's a.
They own Grove
something,
Street.
but.
They basically own the whole
Exactly,
street.
so anyway, so we deny unless on that,
Yeah.
please, because I already,
Yes.
okay. And any new business?
No.
No,
I was
okay,
told-
so July is when we're meeting in an undisclosed location as yet to be
apartment this time.
determined. And, but
Dick Cheney
but
joining us?
we're meeting on Wednesday, and I'm.
July 7th, it's in my calendar.
July 8th, it's
Oh,
July 8th.
7 and 8. Well, yours would be 8. yeah.
It'll be 8,
Eight.
and,
Okay.
I'm gonna,
But that's a Wednesday, right?
it's a,
Yes.
I moved the Thursday to Wednesday,
Okay.
so, okay?
Okay.
Okay. And that's it. And then for anybody on SLA 1, in August, SLA 1 is on Wednesday instead of Tuesday. So that everybody could go to, what's it called, night out?
National Night Out.
National Night Out.
What is that?
What's national?
The first time ever we remember.
So let's get out of this, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, what I was saying before, Donna, by the way?
This wasn't YouTube.